The ratings, our Egyptian Rain, the 100 rater over Accelerator number 1, 5 Good Result and 4 Periscope. So 7, 1, 5 and 4. Accelerator 160. Academe in the market. Periscope. Let's take a break. We're back.
26th of the series, and in the missile, the Potter is the favourite with the best backed against it, our Egyptian Rain. And the gates are back, and there they go. Good Result and Pompeii left best. Accelerator away nicely with Scottish. Further back, our Egyptian Rain, and then comes a length and a half away Scottish Pride. Periscope. Second last Academe. Accelerators dropped out to last. They come to the turn at the 500 in the Group 3 missile, and Good Result a link. Dainty Deb. Pompeii holding the rails. Prince Shep the roughie wider out from our Egyptian Rain, and then Scottish Pride. Periscope. Academe on the extreme outside, and Accelerator is stone motherless down to the 300 marker. Good Result joined and headed along the rails by Pompeii. A length into Academe wider out, followed by our Egyptian Rain. Forget about Accelerator. It's Pompeii the leader. 100 to go. She's safely holding them all at bay. Corey Brown and Pompeii victorious in the missile. Photo second. Academe wide out with our Egyptian Rain and Good Result. And then came Accelerator, followed by Scottish Pride, and then Periscope, followed in by
Lachlan's horse is pretty solid.
Selection Spark of Life for the San Domenico Stakes is the ratings special. Danbird 83, Sydney coming up in 15 minutes. Danbird resuming at $20, 15 Exceed and Exceed. Here is the Gay Waterhouse trained How Funny. It's into $8.30 now, and the rest are at double figure odds. A very interesting race coming up. This will give us a very good guide to the rest of the spring for some of these horses. Here's Ian Craig now to call the action.
Racing this time, Spark of Life dwelt, missed it by 3/4 of a length, but is picking up ground very quickly to chase Regimental Gal. A length away, third Exceed and Excel, followed closely by Danbird, Ruggles, and then Handsome Ransom, and Olympus drops out last. Well, Regimental Gal and Spark of Life are going hammer and tong to the 650. They lead by 4 lengths now, Exceed and Excel. Ruggles over on the inside, and then Danbird, Handsome Ransom, How Funny, followed by Dorky and 2 or 3 lengths, Olympus, Spark of Life and Regimental Gal. Around the corner, it's New South Wales and Queensland, and they're a minute in front of Exceed and Excel. Spark of Life, Regimental Gal's got the neck in front of the hot pot. Regimental Gal, 3/4 Spark of Life. How much has the favourite got left? Not a lot at the moment, seemingly, at about 6 lengths to Dorky, but Regimental Gal is streaking away with the San Domenico in her pocket. A brilliant win by the Queenslander Regimental Gal from Spark of Life. Dorky third, fourth Handsome Ransom, How Funny, Danbird, followed by Exceed and Excel, Olympus, and Ruggles was Absolute. What a wonderful performance for the San Domenico. It's been right here and at the second. Spark of Life, 120. Number 8 in the third spot, Dorky.
Very nice.
I'll be backing a next start, 1400 with her. She'll just put a gap in her. That was an unbelievable performance. She hasn't raced for so long, no trial for 2 months.
That's what I'm saying. There might have been 2.
Hell on us. So 8, 3, 5, 1. As we check them out here. Helenus is at $17. Then Magical Miss 12. Roman Arch 6.
Third pick would be Prince Rubiton, Natural Blitz, and Cool Trent, the horse that has been spec'd.
On the outside, Prince Rubiton in behind them, followed by Magical Miss and Helenus. Roman Archers next just inside these, and they're followed Natural Blitz to Gould Lane and Cool Trent at the 400. Naden from Sports, the little tacker under pressure. Prince Rubiton about to come with his run. Then came Magical Miss and wider out Helenus, and then Cool Trent up the middle of the track, but Naden in front from Sports. Prince Rubiton running on. Magical Miss running a nice race. It's Naden from Sports and Prince Rubiton. Sports after Naden. Naden just for the lead. They're coming to the line. Sports dived, bobbing photo, either Sports or Naden. Close go. Prince Rubiton third. Roman Arch just behind them. Cool Trent made ground right up the middle of the track. Magical Miss held her place well, and then to Gould Lane and the little tacker. In behind them Helenus and Natural Blitz last in the Ori Star. It's a photo finish officially by a short half head. A short half head by 3/4 of a length, and the time is 1:10.18.
In prize money. It sees some stars engaged, the likes of Accelerator, which is fancied at $4.30, second favourite behind Thorn Park. He's the top pick at $2.60, and Niello, number 9, resuming here. Much interest in how he performs today. He's rated one of the main chances in the race at a Pateza. An interesting hope here too, in great form at the moment through the winter.
Improving his position, threading his way through the field. Lead now, half to 3/4 of a length on Shags. A length and a half away in the third position is Athelnoth, followed closely by Accelerator as they work their way down the side of the track, and then Pompey, followed by Niello, Hammerbeam, Thorn Park, at a length and a half to Pateza. This is the order coming to the corner. At our Egyptian Rain, a length and a half on Shags. Third is Athelnoth on the inside. A length further back is Accelerator, followed by Niello, and then Pompey, and Thorn Park on the extreme outside is being let down by Boss, and he's starting to come home quickly. The mare, Our Egyptian Rain, at the 150, but Thorn Park, by golly, what a turn of speed he's got, and Pateza on the outside, but Thorn Park, a length and a half, Pateza followed by Accelerator, Thorn Park in front, Pateza coming late, too late, Thorn Park wins the Premier from Pateza. Third Accelerator, fourth was Niello, then Our Egyptian Rain, Shags, Hammerbeam, followed by Pompey, and last was Athelnoth. Thorn Park by Spinning World. Glen Boss for Bobby Thompson, and owners must be. It's a lovely return by the youngster Niello.
He's physically stronger.
Thorn Park finished the race off well, but not as well as Pateza. He recorded the fastest closing sectionals in the race, and Glen Boss looked to be more focused on Accelerator and where he was positioned in the concluding stages, and not Pateza, Ron.
Yeah, well, Glenn said he heard Pateza coming. I think he heard the punters in the betting ring yelling, "Look the other way, look the other way." But no, he seemed to have him covered, but it was a little bit hairy that last 50 metres when Pateza was really coming with that devastating sprint that we know he's got. Look,
the McEwen Trophy ahead of Dantana, Super Elegant, and Titanic Jack. Let's have a look at the market. Nothing splitting Yell and Dantana, both horses sharing favouritism, starting to move in. This very interesting race. It's been a great day of racing at Moonee Valley, and it's about to continue. Here's Greg Miles.
The pattern is going to suit those back markers who come round them the way things have been panning out. Reasonably Yell on the outside, Dantana, River Dove away fast, and Titanic Jack's out the back as they settle into stride. Dantana had the lead settling down. From Super Elegant on the inside and Ruby Slipper the outer going forward. River Dove pulling up way up to the fourth placing. The Big Chill just behind them. Yelly's back to second last, and Titanic Jack a half length away on the inside. Dantana through the gap led Ruby Slipper. River Dove 4 wide. Super Elegant retaining the rail. A length and a half further back as Yell going up on the outside of the Big Chill, and Titanic Jack 5 from the leader. At the turn now, River Dove getting level with Dantana, Ruby Slipper, Yell coming around them, and Super Elegant tracking through on the rails, and Titanic Jack winds up as they come to the corner. They stretch across the track. Super Elegant rails through to join Dantana, River Dove, Yell the widest runner, the Big Chill putting in a run down near the inside, Yell out wide with 100 to go, getting up to Dantana and the Big Chill. Yell and the Big Chill are coming to the line, and Yell has won it. Yell first, just beats the Big Chill. Photo for third between Dantana and Super Elegant from Titanic Jack, and then River Dove, and last to go over the line is Ruby Slipper. The shorter trip for the first time, and he's a lot better when he gets out to the 1200, and beyond that he's certainly going to have a...
But no, he's a dominant sprinter, Yell, and a very underrated one at that.
Probably going to cut a sway.
And Kusi, resuming today, is considered the one to beat in the sense, dominating. Let's have a closer look at this young horse by Desert Prince, trained...
Was won by Snowland. And of course, Snowland, who won it in 2002, about to embark on. If you're on All Gonna Do It, they're set, they're off this time. He jumped reasonably, All Gonna Do It. Exceed and Excel jumped with gusto and leads a length. Dan Burden going up very quickly. Galini looking for the lead. Then Sunset Run followed Bus, and 3 lengths November Dreaming. 600 out in the up and coming. And Exceed and Excel shows the way. The well-tried Galini second. Dan Bird on the outside of Sunset Run, followed by Hipwood, All Gonna Do It, Kusi. And the favourites got 2 behind him, Olympus and November Dreaming. Exceed and Excel well away from the rails, straightens up more than a length, 2 lengths in fact now. Second is Galini, followed by Hipwell, and 2 lengths to Dan Bird, All Gonna Do It, and Kusi is next and a mile back, but Exceed and Excel at the distance, 2.5, 3 clear, showing no signs of stopping. Hipwell second, then Dan Bird, but it's Exceed and Excel in front. He's getting a little tired, but he's got a big break. Battling on is Dan Bird on the inside, but as they reach the line, Exceed and Excel wins it from Dan Bird and Hipwell. photo fourth, all going to do it with Kuzi. Galini stopped from Olympus November Dreaming and tailed off Sunset Run. And Excel, 7:20 and 2:10. Number 2, Danbird, 2:80. Number 4, third.
Up running, hadn't had a trial, he raced fresh, but yesterday's high cruising speed couldn't be matched, could it?
Yeah, well, that first up performance behind Regimental Gal, he and Danbird both come out of that race, and that was a very, very fast run race. They were flat out keeping up. And you could see yesterday he put Exceeding So, what I consider to be like the gun spot, just off the pace, like near the lead there, but just sitting 3 off the rail, travelled well. Got him to the centre of the track when he straightened up, was all too good. Danbird's effort was busy. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. He got a long way back and he was under pressure getting rubbish thrown at him, and he raced tight between runners, then he wanted to hang in, and of course then the last 200 he's gone back to the rail, and you know, Corey basically gave up on him, but he sort of gets a bit of a little spurt on at the finish, past a couple of tired ones. So, you know, I think that horse is quite a talented horse, Kersey, and you know, I would forgive him that one run.
Richard?
Well, I got to say, I wasn't that disappointed with Kuzi. Exceed and Excel, I reckon he's a bit like Choisir. I reckon he's a hot sprinter, Exceed and Excel. They try and make a stayer out of him, it won't work. That's in my opinion. I reckon he'll be a sensational straight horse as well, because he's got that high cruising speed and he can give when he needs to. So I reckon that's where he lies. Danbird, I'm not sure, but Kuzi copped a bump on the corner from All Gonna Do It, who nearly slipped over on the corner, and that sort of put him off balance. He turned his head there, and you could see that he's hanging back to the rail. He doesn't want to go near All Gonna Do It again, and it's only till he gets a bit of space on the fence, straightens up, he can't hang any further, that he starts to stretch out. I just think he might be looking for a bit more ground, but he's got to drop a few habits.
Richard, all those horses finished behind Regimental Gal. Kuzi was first up then.
For that horse. Race 6, Randwick, 13 minutes off. The Silver Shadow Stakes, a Group 2 race for 3-year-old fillies. The Golden Slipper winner, Polar Success, top raider, ahead of Regimental.
And Joe, light rain falling here at Randwick now as the horses prepare to move in for this prestigious race in which Regimental Gal runs the favourite, 2:30. In New South Wales, and has tightened up noticeably in the race, just a wee bit longer than the tote quote at the moment, but the bigger punters late only want to back Regimental Gal. They're off. Bella Corona came out pretty well, so did Regimental Gal, and showing speed as Polar Success looking for the lead, and then Legally Bay followed by How Funny Room, Traffic Stopper, and Resolved is last. In the Silver Shadow they pass the 600 marker, and the Flying Filly from Toowoomba, Regimental Gal, the heavily backed favourite. Rod Easinger well away from the rail. She's a half length How Funny and wider Bella Corona, a length and a half to Polar Success, and then Legally Bay. They straighten up now, and Regimental Gal taken on in earnest by How Funny. Oh, he's had to get desperate on Regimental Gal. How Funny put the head in front. They've raced 2, Polar Success, Legally Bay, Bella Corona and Dorky. She's not done with yet, Regimental Gal. She finds another gear. Regimental Gal got away from How Funny. On the outside, Legally Bay, and Dorky's running home late. Regimental Gal is still in front, nearing the line. She'll win it. Regimental Gal has beaten Legally Bay and Dorky, followed home by Polar Success, How Funny. Ramare, Traffic Stopper, Aim for Gold, Bella Corona, and Resolved a distant last. Oh, what a gutsy filly with a capital G. Thank you very much, Regimental Gal. Look at the totes. Regimental Gal, as Michael Rod trots back on her, $2.30. And $1.40.
Fantastic.
No, it was a good win. She controlled the race with a little bit more ease than at a previous start when she went head and head with Spark of Life. But from a ratings point of view, she came back a bit of a step there, but she was always in command. She was probably closer to the rail than the second, third and fourth horse. Did a very good job. I wasn't sure whether she was going to take a big step back or hold that rating, and she did a good job to win. And as Michael Rod said, she was agitated and a bit. They sort of tended to tell you she was a bit stressy from the run before, but was still good enough to win. Dorky got back, covered a bit of ground, but ran on the best part of the track. Legally Bay's run was of a similar stature, and
Race 7, the San Miguel Warwick Stakes, and Lonhro, the New South Wales Racehorse of the Year, is top raider ahead of Accelerator, Defier, and Half Hennessy. Lonhro. No betting really, $1.40 in New South Wales. Accelerator $4.90, $9.90. Defier, value. Taranigi Express on the way to the Melbourne Cup, 51. Lonhro and Defier renewing their rivalry and making their long-awaited returns to the track in the Warwick Stakes, which is scheduled to get underway in just a minute's time. Lonhro has eased slightly in the betting, out to around $1.60, opened up $1.40. Accelerator $4.90. and Defier is firming into $7. They're the top.
Stakes. Racing this time, Carnegie Express slow to go with Republic Lass, and Shags is the early leader from Accelerator, and Wyangan Pines going up quickly. Defier's nice and handy today. A length and a half to Lonro, then Bedouin. This is the tail ender in the Warwick Stakes. They're making their run towards the 600 now, and the leader is still Shags. Out about a length and 3/4, Wyangan Pines. Accelerator the inside. 2.5 lengths Defier. A length to Lonro, making ground now from Bedouin. Half Hennessy, Republic Lass, Clangalang and Carnegie Express. Around the corner they travel, and the roughie Shags. Another roughie on his outside, Wyangan Pines to Accelerator, and now Beedman calling upon Lonro, and then Defier on the inside of Lonro. He's letting down now Lonro. He comes after Wyangan Pines. Shags has gone, Clangalang and Republic Lass. Lonro in front. He's got a bit of a fight on his hands. Clangalang second. It's Lonro in front. He's digging deep. Lonro, he's holding Clangalang and Defier, and a great return by Lonro to beat Clangalang and Defier. Photo fourth, Half Hennessy, Republic Lass and Wyangan Pines from Bedouin, Carnegie Express, and Shags in company with Accelerator, the last two to complete the course. Number 1, Lonro, he had to pull out all stops to win it. Number 8 is second, and that is Clangalang by Clang from Little Recruit, trained by Gerald Ryan, written by Michael Rodd. And 3 Defier, third by Dahir from Lilond.
7 rain-affected track, and you just don't want to have too hard a run, and we're able to give you...
is now an even clearer early favourite for the WS Cox Plate in October. It was a great return to the track yesterday. So much to be discussed out of the race, though, particularly the efforts of the likes of Clangalang and Republic Lass.
And Half Hennessy too, Joe. Its performance was very good, Half Hennessy. Interestingly enough, it's the first time that Johnny Hawkes has started this horse first up over 1,400 metres. Normally he's been in 1,100 or 1,200. But yeah, he positioned himself beautifully, you know, played to the track bias. He's a real bulldog, isn't he? Like, he went up to Wyangan Pines. He was entitled to probably get away from it a bit easier. It was its first attempt at weight for age. Won a couple of flyings with a kilo over the limit recently. But all odds with the winner. And as you said, Republic Lass, she finished the race off quite nicely after covering plenty of ground. Defier's run was good. I'm just not 100% sure about Defier. He doesn't win often enough for mine, and he pretty much had every chance.
Track conditions yesterday weren't ideal for him, though.
Yeah, you're probably right, but he was in the right position all the time. I mean, he was equal with Lonro, and he did have to go inside Wyangan Pines at the finish, but it was still fine.
Wayne, what were your thoughts?
Underestimate how good Lonro was, how difficult it is to get a horse fit enough to win a race of that calibre at 1,400 metres on a wet track at his first go back from a spell. That is a tremendous effort from that horse. And I tell you what, Clangalang did look good, but Clangalang had the absolute perfect run behind Lonro. Michael Rodd followed Darren Beedman wherever he went, and then just peeled out from behind him like a cyclist in the last 50 metres of a sprint, and had the last crack at him, which was a very good effort, but it made Clangalang's effort, it flattered it compared to Lonro. Lonro did the hard bullocking work.
I think the main thing...
The feature there today, the JJ Liston Stakes, a Group 2 race over 1,400 metres. And number 6, St Basil, is top raider ahead of Super Elegant, Bush Padre and Hellenus. Bush Padre around the $8 mark, $7.20 Super Elegant. Prince Rubiton sit down the bottom of the betting at $5, given some chance.
A little bit of support for Elf's top here, Super Elegant, number 2, and that's been the only horse that has tightened up, Joe, for the Liston.
Such an important race coming up, it will help put the big...
And then Prince Rubiton and St Basil. They're lining up now, Hellenus going into the gates, Coup de Clar jumping well and a brilliant start to the race. Super Elegant and Prince Rubiton away quickly with Walk on Air and Step Ahead's driving on as well as they settle into stride at the 1,200 metres. And Super Elegant had the lead narrative at Coup de Clar. Pushes Blitz on the inside of Sound Action. Then Helena's Mummify, Bush Padre and St Basil last of all at the 800. And Super Elegant led in second place in Coup de Clar. 2 lengths away Prince Rubiton. Step Ahead the outside Mr Casanova working wide. He's going forward now. Then Vocabulary Walk on Air on the inside, followed by Hydrometer. Hellenus out 3 wide at the 600 metres, followed by Sound Action, a good way back with Bush Padre. Natural Blitz on the rails, and then came St Basil and Mummify as last as the Liston field swings for home. And Super Elegant led from Mr Casanova. Then Vocabulary, Prince Rubiton right behind them in the lime colours as they corner, followed then by Hellenus, pulled to the outside of Hydrometer. Super Elegant down to the 200, led Vocabulary. Walk on Air is starting to come home well. Vocabulary getting up to Super Elegant. Walk on Air. Sound Action from well back. Super Elegant still just had it from Vocabulary and Walk on Air. Super Elegant clinging to the lead, and Super Elegant wins it by a long neck on the line to probably Vocabulary. Close up in the field is Sound Action on the outside with Walk on Air figuring for the placings. Clear then to Mummify, who came home well on the inside. Mr. Casanova held on side to get home. Third place has gone to 3 Walk on Air. Good run. He sort of excuses for some of the beaten division here on this very biased track. 1:24.45 the time. A long neck.
In Sydney yesterday?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, guys. Yeah, it's a disgrace. I mean, OK, it is winter, but in Melbourne particularly, they moved the rail to create track bias. I mean, I thought we were over all that. I thought we'd moved on from all that. Never mind.
I had a nice day at the races yesterday. However, there were a lot of trainers that were bitterly disappointed in the way the track was presented yesterday. Yeah, look, I suppose Mick Price, after French Bid 1, summed it up very well. On pace, on rail, and that's it. And I tell you,
It just worked out to the letter.
And Vasil, local trainers knew how the track was going to play yesterday when they'd moved the rail back in 4.5 metres and left a strip along the fence. They just got their horses over to the fence and led along. He was right. A couple of stayers there coming back, as you see him there, Super Elegant leading away. Vocabulary doing a good job, but on the right part of the track, but might be one to follow. She took a good step up in class there, Vocabulary. Few other runs in the race to be aware of too. I thought Hellenus on the extreme outside, or second from the extreme outside, just inside Bush Padre there in the white nose roll. I'd be worried about him if I was Leon Corstens. I think he's showing some fairly poor signs at the moment. Bush Padre forced to follow the chestnut in the yellow colours, just finishing off down the outside. And I thought Sound Action did a great job, as did Natural Blitz. So there's quite a few good runs in there.
And the favourite Lemonade Parade finishing 4th, and Old Umrum under the steadier of 62 kilos finishing.
So Private Steer, first up, of course, since winning the Stradbroke Handicap. And she's got bigger things. She's got bigger things in store for her down track. Whether she'll make it to the Cox Plate, who knows? But and there they go. And Fawadi from the inside jump quickly. The roughy Ancient Prince has got a tackle and knows Fawadi. Lucky Knight is trapped out very wide. Improvers to Red Hannigan and 1/2 to 3/4 Private Steer. In this order, they come down to the corner and the Concord, and Lucky Knight in front. 1/2 to 3/4 of a length on Western Tycoon, being tracked by Empire, Ancient Prince, Fawadi over on the rails, and Private Steer given plenty of galloping room by G-Boss, and she is starting to accelerate now to the 250, and look at Private Steer wide out, going after Strabran and Lucky Knight from Empire, and then Fawadi, who tends to struggle, but Private Steer, has she got them? I think she has. Strabran can't match her, and down to the line goes Private Steer. She's all classed. Private Steer beats Strabran and Empire. Gullcatcher wide out, Fawadi the rails, Red Hannigan followed by Lucky Knight, Western Tycoon, and the bolter brought up the rear, Ancient Prince. Number 2, just a bit too classy for them, Private Steer. 4:35.04, so it looks as though she's come back in a terrific fettle, Private Steer.
During the Brisbane Winter Carnival, of course, won the Group 1 Stradbroke Handicap, and Connections have Group 1 plans for her this spring with a possible tilt at the Cox Plate in mind, Ron.
Yeah, well, she got a long way to go before she be a Cox Plate winner. Look, she was good, but she wasn't brilliant. I'm a little concerned about the depth of this field as well. Look, she'll improve on that. I know she had 57 first up. She gathered them up quite nicely. Look at Red Hannigan in the middle here. I reckon he should have fought the finish out, Red Hannigan, in the black and middle stages. Look, she may have won the lottery here. She just got a soft kill out wide.
You have gone completely radio rental now.
Why?
You have lost the plot completely. You've dropped all your marbles. That is an outstanding filly, that. An outstanding mare.
I'm not saying she's not, but
Any
I think
mare that can carry 57
she wasn't
fields.
brilliant there.
First up, give good horses who are fitter than her.
Good horses?
Good horses?
Good horses?
Give
Mate,
yourself
they're
an
good horses.
uppercut.
They're all won $100,000.
Strabane.
Won a midweek at Warwick Farm, his
Strabane.
first win in 2 years last start, the second horse.
Turn it up. She look.
I'm telling you,
I'm
that's an
100% with
outstanding
Ronnie.
mare.
It was a good win. She had every possible chance. There were horses in that race that had absolutely no luck at all, and it was definitely not a strong field.
Listen, any mare that can come back first up and do that, set those horses a start, fitter than she was, and beat them, right? That'll do me. Good horses keep winning, you know that?
What do you think?
And those camels that you want to tip will keep getting beaten.
What do you think of Glenn Bott?
I think it was more than okay. I'm actually in agreement with you, Rick.
That'll do me. I'll just get up and leave now. Thank you very much. I'm off.
Oh, do us a favour.
Louis New Golden Rose, $1 million up for grabs. The ratings with Hanson Ransom ahead of Danbird, Tesumai and Gilded Youth, 3 from 248. Blinkers for Danbird, Tony Brassel made his best bet of the day, Niello, Lonrose, baby brother, and of the others, Charmview has accepted the Tui's New Golden Rose, developed through those horses nominated through the Golden Slipper series, and we'll wait to see where the money's going to go, and good luck whichever you've invested yours on. Now, more $7. Let's link up with Ian Craig, the richest race around Australia today.
Yes. 16 of them racing. Al Jamil and Chosen Light a little slowly into stride, and a Handsome Ransom jumped quickly. So too did Danbird, and Tesumai got out well. Mind Reader and How Funny are improved. Niagara Falls, Gilded Youth, Prince Nimrod, followed then by very, very wide out Spinning Boy, Al Jamil, Chosen Light, and In Top Swing. They're on past the 800, and Hammerbeam the leader, a length now. Mind Reader second, Danbird third, Ashanti fourth. Then Tesumai followed closely by Handsome Ransom and Charmview, Gilded Youth in No Man's Land, and the Yellows over on the inside, and then Niagara Falls a length further back in the field as they come down to approach the corner. Prince Nimrod, and then Spinning Boy, 2.5 in, Al Jamil, In Top Swing, and Chosen Light into the straight past the 400. Hammerbeam taken on by Mind Reader and Danbird. How Funny looking for the run. Ashanti, In Top Swing is getting clear. Niello is behind those, and here's Gilded Youth down the outside with Handsome Ransom and Charmview. In Top Swing hits the front from Ashanti. Handsome Ransom, it's In Top Swing the leader. In Top Swing hanging on. In Top Swing looks to have just nailed Handsome Ransom, who's very wide out. Ashanti, How Funny, and up there too Niello with Gilded Youth and Chosen Light, followed by Danbird. Finally, a midfield finish for Hammerbeam, Tesumai, Niagara Falls, followed at the head of the others by Al Jamil, Mind Reader, Charmview, Spinning Boy, and Prince Nimrod. Absolute terrific finish.
Thanks a lot. It is a thrill. I mean, it's more of a thrill, you know, to win it for Bill. I mean, he's been in the horses for a long time, and this is one of his best successes. I mean, for the horse, he's a damn good horse. He'd race very well. I mean, he could have won by 5 lengths. It doesn't really matter. He won.
All right, congratulations.
Thanks
I'll go and enjoy the moment.
Thank you.
Well, In Top Swing for a $60,000 purchase, Ron Dufficy has done very well. His earnings up around the $700,000 mark.
Yeah, a good win, and really good for the owners of that horse, Mr. and Mrs. Fisher, who put a lot into racing over many, many years, but fair dinkum. He won the lottery. He went from last to first, uninterrupted run right through the middle. There was hard luck stories all around this race and a bunch finish. The third filly, Ashanti, did a terrific job. She was gallant, 4 wide, no cover, and probably should have won the race. Chosen Light missed the start, held up in the straight and ran on very, very strongly from the back of the field. And Handsome Ransom, you know, he was wide all the way as well. A lot of hard luck stories here.
Niello was set out the race favourite. Mike, your thoughts on his performance?
Well, I've got a big opinion of Niello, Joe, but he was pretty unlucky throughout the race. He seems to be a little bit feel-shy. I reckon he's a horse that's probably looking for further so he can actually get to travel, and he probably needs a set of blinkers on him because he's very feel-shy.
Hey, how'd you get that big opinion? What's he done?
What? Didn't you have a look at his run behind Thorn Park?
All I've watched him do is run behind horses.
Well, he's only had 6 starts in his life. Give him a break, you goose.
No, listen. I think there's been an enormous rap on the horse. He's no Lonro. He never will be.
No one said he was.
Who says he's Lonro?
He's an immature.
They keep bunching him in the same group.
Well, only because he's his brother.
No, I never mentioned the word Lonro. All I said was, he's green, he's immature, he's had 5 or 6 starts. Put a set of blinkers on him, over a bit of ground, he'll win a race. Absolutely.
Jamaica Gilded Youth.
Gilded Youth.
Well,
and Ashanti
raced 6 wide all the way.
I think behind Ashanti, who sat 4 deep, as Ronnie said, out in the breeze. She should have won the race. No doubt in my mind, Ashanti should have won the race. And Gilded Youth should have probably run.
It's Group 3 McNeil Stakes. It's due in 13 with Abdullah from Snip Attack and Cross Current. 9 from 3 and 4, they're number 14. Kahitra and Mr. Qigong with blinkers first time. Number 15's the only scratching. Over the pay the rage. Long odds on, Unitab odds on New South Wales. And a check over the...
The longer the race is, the better.
Abdullah jumped fast, and so did Weinstock towards the inside, and Cross Current from a middle gate began very quickly, so did Flash in the Pan. And in the inside to be just behind the leading bunch with dress code. Next, Frassasas out wide from Mr. Keegong. It'd be midfield, Elstrom on the inside, followed then as they come to the corner by Kawita and Batiro and Royal Fire back towards the end with Devastating. Abdallah came around the home turn. This is his moment here. He straightens up in front of Cross Current and Snip Attack wider out. Then Winestock and Fragmentation. Abdallah at the 200. He's let go. He leads by a length. Cross Current is trying to go with him. Then Snip Attack and Kawita's coming down the outside. Abdallah the leader, he's rolled to the inside. Cross Current picks him back. Kawita flies on the outside. The three of them come to the line and Kawita has got them. Kawita right down the outside beats Cross Current or Abdallah. Fragmentation fourth, and just behind those Elstrom ran a nice race. Devastating got home. Then Snip Attack, Mr. Keegong never ran on. Blinkers on, and he has produced a wonderful run up the middle of the track. Kawita there, but probably by about a half a length, so quickly was he finishing. Followed up by Kawita, a big odds winner for Luke Curry.
Another son of Costa de Lago, Kawita. Now, there's a bit of a rap on this horse around for a while now. He hasn't really lived up to it, but he lived up to it yesterday. That was a very, very good effort, beating his more fancied rivals, Abdallah and River Crossing, who both sort of drifted back towards the fence. Abdallah, well, he made all in front and he got back into the worst going towards the fence, so that was a pretty good effort, as did you see Cross Current coming across to hold hands with him, and Kawita out wide there. Well, he just did the job. A good run from Fragmentation just behind them too.
Considering the step up in class for Abdallah yesterday, he was probably under the odds, in all fairness.
Probably was too, Joe, but I think the run of the race was a horse called Flash in the Pan. He gets beat about 5.5 lengths. By gee, it was a mighty effort, this horse. If you have a look at the replays, it got poleaxed about 4 times, it got tightened up in the straight, and it does hit the line quite nicely. As I said, it got beat about 5 lengths. It was a good run. Devastating's run was good too. It made nice ground late in the race, and all the others have been well documented, but gee, it was a nice run, Flash in the Pan, Ron.
And Abdullah's going to the paddock now.
By ratings 4, 1, 2 and 3. The Memsie Stakes at Group 2 level has been running over various distances over the years, and there's been some grand multiple winners of this race. The likes of Lord winning it 4 times, Comic Court twice, Ajax 3 times, Eurythmic 3 times, and Sunline 2 times. Mares have won 4 of the past 5. Will it continue? Magical Miss is looking to go back-to-back. She's at 490, and all eyes focused on how she goes second up from a spell. Well, the fairy tale unfurl ahead in the Memsie, La Zagaletta, or another older generation galloper, the Ageless Marvel Sports, with Darren Gauchi on board.
Darren. First 2 locked in, virtually 3 equal favourites in the race. La Zagaletta, Super Elegant and Magical Miss. In the Group 2, La Zagaletta slow to move. Serpentire and Magical Miss out the back early with Chattanooga. Sports first out with De Gaulle Lane. Super Elegant away swiftly goes to third, and then out of options. Vez to the outside from North Boy. Sports has gone to the lead, and he did it pretty well to the railway side, leading Zvez to second. De Gaulle Lane tucked in third on the inside. Super Elegant is around him, 1 to North Boy out of options. Next in the field, then Vicksburg along the inside, La Zagaletta the centre, and Penny Gem is wide. Then Chattanooga Magical Miss about 8 from the leader, and 3 or 4 to Serpentire at the 550. Sports away from the rail, leading De Gaulle Lane, Zvezda, Super Elegant. Then North Boy, hard ridden, getting up to 5th the outside, trailed by out of options Vicksburg, La Zagaletta, Chattanooga. Penny Gem peeling to the outside, and then Magical Miss as they corner, where Super Elegant drives through and goes to the lead at the top of the straight over. Sports, Vesda, North Boy, Chattanooga to the inside. Let's see, Magical Miss, she's got right to the outside. It's Super Elegant in front at the 150. Here comes La Zagaletta, out of options, running a Bottler over on the inside. Super Elegant, La Zagaletta, they're coming to the line. La Zagaletta, he bombed the start, but he grabs the lead right on the line. And it's La Zagaletta from Super Elegant, out of options, has run a beauty in third. Chattanooga 4, Vicksburg 5th. Then De Gaulle Lane, a fair break in the field, then to Penny Gem, Svez to North Boy. Magical Miss didn't come on today. Sports has knocked right up. He's run second last, and Serpentire was last all of the way. La Zagaletta, ridden by Brett Preble. At the race, son of Last Tycoon. I think a double for that sire here today. Swift's in the mare, and the old grey giving Lee Friedman his second Memsie win. He took it out in 1992 with Nautilism. First victory in this weight for age race for Brett Preble.
Go to the Feehan? Oh, absolutely. I mean,
he doesn't have to do much work. He's fit now, and we'll just potter along with him. And he loves Moonee Valley. He's won a Waterford Vase area, and he nearly won the Feehan there last year. So, in his current form, if they got a soft track, he's the one you probably want to be on.
Bit of discussion about the track bias towards the inside. Given that they've shifted the rail out 9 metres, everyone still raced away from the fence. Did you think it lent itself to good racing?
Probably did a little bit. I think it was probably, the inside was still probably a little bit used from the meeting prior.
Yeah.
And that's probably what I would just want to, probably say 3 or 4 off, but overall, it wasn't too bad, I didn't think.
And Magical Miss just didn't cope with the conditions.
Yeah, she looked pretty big in condition yesterday. She's got bigger fish to fry
You're always
down the
got to
track.
be wary when fat horses run first up. They're always vulnerable second up. We've got to assess her next time.
She's coming back from pretty serious injury.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Joe. I think you just have to wait and see with Magical Miss. She needs to put 1 or 2 really good ones together, and then I'll be convinced. North Boy, I think he's just a light of other days.
Yeah.
He just seems to have lost all zest for racing.
Coming to the turn, I thought he was going to win.
Yeah, and a couple of good runs there. Vicksburg was a good run. De Gaulle Lane, well, he was, first up back from a, a long layoff, and you can forgive him for caving in the last bit. But I thought Chattanooga, he did well for an old horse.
He stuck close to the fence there on the inside. It wasn't the place to be.
Yeah. Other than that, when old Zag beats them, it's a true Group 2 because he's not a Group 1 horse, and he's just. I worry about the horses that finish behind him because at 8 years old you'd be expecting to see something come up and knock him off, but he's got a new lease of life since he moved out into the country. And
by late night, the fans were making their own fun, singing. One of the early favourites for next month's Caulfield Cup, Republic Lass, has been retired after injuring a leg in track work. Scans have revealed the 2-time Group 1 winner suffered a torn tendon during a gallop at Warwick Farm in Sydney this morning. The 5-year-old, who finished 3rd behind Northerly in last year's Caulfield Cup, was rated a 12-to-1 chance for this year's race after weights were released yesterday. Republic Lass retires a winner of 6 races and more than $1.5 million in prize money.
Good of late, and an interest the next in Sydney. They're 17 minutes away. Polar Success, the top raider, number 8, ahead of Hasna, Exceed and Excel, and Ambulance, number 2. And the odds for race 4 in Sydney show Kuzi at 6.40. Exceed and Excel is the total act on that screen. Hasna returning, and Polar Success being kept to the shorter distances at
4:21.60 tote pick and same on track. So most interesting race, and Bella Corona is coming up to the gates now. A prolific winner of the Chelmsford Stakes, Roman Consul. Ready to go. Exceed and Excel just moving a shade. Racing this time, Exceed and Excel jumped very quickly and straight to the lead he goes from Polar Success. Bella Corona improving and Hasna showing a lot of early speed. A length and a half further back is Kuzi, followed by Imperialism, Bushland, Yes by the rails. 3 Yes Boss and 2 lengths to Ambulance. This is the order. Coming past the 500 and Exceed and Excel increasing his lead on Polar Success. 3rd is Hasna hugging the rails, followed by Bella Corona, Imperialism. Then Bushland and Kuzi, followed by Yes Boss and Ambulance as they straighten up, and Exceed and Excel shifting away from the rails. He's a length and a half clear. Hasna on the inside is running a terrific race, fresh, followed by Bella Corona, and then Polar Success, but it's still the colt by Danehill, Exceed and Excel. Hasna can't quite catch him, getting home late as Ambulance, but Exceed and Excel, he's a smart sprinting type and he wins the Roman Consul. Exceed and Excel beat Hasna and 3rd Ambulance. That was a great run, followed by Bushland, Kuzi, Polar Success, Imperialism, Yes Boss, and Bella Corona has finished tailed off. He's a very, very good sprinting 3-year-old colt, isn't he? Exceed and Excel.
Race record 109.14. Well, some positives out of that race, apart from a winner. Great return by Hasna. And how about the run of Ambulance into 3rd?
One fair and square.
Tim Martin, Exceed and Excel's trainer, now has the Caulfield Guineas in mind, Ron.
No. Look, I feel this horse has done a terrific job, but I don't know where they can go with a horse like this now. He's just a sprinter to my eye, and unless you get a mad leaders track there at Caulfield, I don't like his chances running a mile at Caulfield. But he's really come of age now. It was well documented. He was just way above himself first up, and he's done the job twice since. Look at Hasna. They should be proud of her runs. By all reports, she's been going awfully. But Gay's turned her around now. She's game. Of the others, what about Ambulance?
Best 3-year-old in Sydney, I reckon.
He could win the Caulfield Guineas and the Derby.
Yep. He's not nothing to be on that horse because he goes well in Sydney, we've seen here. Beautiful run there. That is a fantastic effort. Look at him stretch out over the last 100 metres when he's just floating to the line and gobbling them up. Great effort, Exceed and Excel. He's a real sprinter and he did it tough and he did it in good time too. And his last 600 split was very good as well. So what the hell did Ambulance run his last 600 in? I don't know. But he went to Queensland, ran brilliantly. Went to Melbourne. He was in Melbourne before that, went brilliantly. This horse has got it all.
Grounding.
I reckon he's a real
success. Polar success.
Well,
something's not right there.
Little disappointing. The Connections approached the stewards on Friday about making a gear change. They put a bar plate on its off hind hoof, and they put padding and all that. So there was obviously something wrong with its foot. It was there to the 200, but struggled to go on with it. Kuzi, look, I'm really surprised they haven't thrown a set of blinkers on him.
It'll happen.
Got to get a set of blinkers.
Absolutely brush him.
All right.
Best, and then a big gap back. So 4 from 5, 3 and 7, scratching being the top weight. On course, it's Sportsman, similar odds to what they're betting on the tote. Shower of Roses is under the totes, and a third elect on course is Brits Best, which is Sportsman ahead of Shower of Roses, then Brits Best with its admirers, and the rest are at longer odds with no moves except for...
And the early leader is Sportsman. Brits Best is second. Not far away as they settle fully into stride. Shower of Roses with Mardi Gras. A good go for the leader. Then Crianza, Boreal. And Shower of Roses works along the side and goes to the 800 by 2 lengths. Mardi Gras. Third is Brits Best and Sportsman on a limb is fourth. Followed by Boreal on the inside of Sports Brat. And 2 lengths to the Toowoomba mare Crianza. It's Shower of Roses coming past the 600. Leading about a length and a half on Mardi Gras. Brits Best and Sportsman working hard. Then Boreal, followed by Sports Brat and 2 lengths Crianza. Shower of Roses first around the corner in the tramway. A length clear, Brits Best and Mardi Gras between them, followed by Sportsman. He's joining in quickly. Shower of Roses surrendered. Brits Best and Sportsman have raced away. And then comes Sports Brat, but Sportsman a half length in front now from Brits Best, 2.5 to Sports Brat. But this model racehorse Sportsman is clearing out from Brits Best. Boreal getting home late on the inside, but Sportsman does it again. Sportsman has beaten Brits Best and Boreal. Then Sports Brat Crianza. Shower of Roses gave up, and she finished back with Mardi Gras at the tail of the field. There's another race record. That is Smash Tuna 2's record, and that was established here in 1982 of 122.10. And this bloke, Sportsman, has run 121.82, so he had an equal race record in the first, a class record in the second, a race record...
the ride run?
Well, I thought it was one of the worst winning rides I've ever seen there. I don't know whether Zach was a mug there or a genius trying to read the bias travelling wide. He drew barrier 5, 4 deep throughout. But the horse got the job done. Excellent performance. He's a genuine performer. Look, usually pedigree comes back to haunt these horses, but he's certainly doing a job he's trained on and just keeps coming up each preparation.
Mike, Shower of Roses led them up in that race and she tailed off. It was a pretty dismal performance, wasn't it?
I suppose from a point of getting the horse a little fitter, it might have done some good. I don't think the ride early in the race was anything barnstorming. He went out and just dashed 100 miles an hour, the horse over-raced. She did compound quickly. Have a look at her there, back on the inside.
We know she's better than that. There'd be something wrong with her.
Much better than that. But Brits Best ran his usual honest race. He ran second at Sportsman the other day. But, yeah, as Ronnie said, sat 3 and 4 wide, but I suppose the good thing about Zach is he did hold the horse together. He just sort of,
Look, it's the best you could say, right? And I have to say, that just proved how much Sportsman had on the rest of the field, that he was able to do that. Gets a good run. He wins by 5, and you're saying the rest of them are terrible,
Fangalang and Sky Ratings ahead of Half Hennessy and then Platinum Scissors. 1, 6, 8 and 7. On course, Lonhro very firm elect, but much shorter the tote than what they're betting on course. Clangalang is the only other runner on course under double figure odds.
And in they come now for one of the highlights today, the Tattersalls Chelmsford Stakes, won last year by Lonhro. And most think he'll make it back-to-back successes. He's $1.40 and $1.10. Second pick, number 6, Clangalang, $5.60. And they're off in the Chelmsford Stakes, and a Bedouin jumped out quickly. Platinum Scissors up looking for the lead and getting it. Lonhro is not far away second, in fact. Monmeki improving ground, followed by Accelerator wider out. Now, who is going to lead? It's going to be Monmeki now. From on the end, they've gone more than halfway, and Monmeki shows out. Second, Accelerator nearly 2 lengths away. Third on the inside, Platinum Scissors. Lonhro is next, and then Half Hennessy making ground from Bedouin, Clangalang. Carnegie Express and 2 lengths to County Tyrone. They're on the turn in the Chelmsford Stakes, and Monmeki a length clear. On Accelerator getting a little closer. Lonhro called upon now, and he's sprinting up to them quickly. Platinum Scissors looking for the way through, and then Carnegie Express, who's running a good race today. Lonhro, is he as flat as a strap? Beedman has a peep. Lonhro ridden hard now. Accelerator second, and then Platinum Scissors from Carnegie Express, but he accelerates now, Lonhro, and away goes Lonhro from Platinum Scissors and Accelerator, and that's the way they finish. Lonhro from Platinum Scissors, Accelerator, and Clangalang getting home well. Carnegie Express, a nice run. Then Bedouin, Half Hennessy, Monmeki, and last the stayer, County Tyrone. Wasn't it nice to see Carnegie Express this afternoon running a very, very nice event?
35 and 54 is the last section. They've run just a tick outside the race record, which is listed in the book at 1:35.03. They've run 1:35.06, and exactly the same quinella as last year's race. And they've run a fair whack faster, of course.
Horses you ever rode, and then to get on his son, like Big O, and now the Big L, capital L.
Yeah, he's just a little bit more. He's a little bit more sharper than Occy, but you know, Occy's he was just a real war horse, and you know, like look at the races he won, you know, Cox Plates, Derbies, and Australian Cup. So you know, he's a champion, Occy, and this bloke, I suppose he's got to win a Cox Plate before he could really say he's a real champion. But I tell you what, he's only short half head behind it.
Well, believe it or not, Lonhro does have his detractors. The headline in this morning's tab form lifted out in the Sunday Telegraph. Don't doubt him. Lonhro silences detractors in the Chelmsford. Well, who are these people?
Oh, you know, it's everyone sort of loves their old-time champions, you know. It hasn't been a champion since Carbine, if you ask a few of them, but he's a modern-day champion. You know, the young people love him. It's the best horse, you know, the young people at the track have seen ever, I'd suggest. And what more can he do? He's won 20 from 27. He's, you know, he just keeps beating what's thrown up in front of him. You know, maybe they're saying he's not a handicapper, but by gee, there's some nice weight for age races around. Gabe Waterhouse herself said yesterday he is currently Australia's best galloper. He's now the $4 fixed odds favourite for the Cox Plate later this year in Melbourne. And really, on our own turf, what is around that could possibly beat him? It's the international horses that we need to have a close look at.
You could probably pick that race to pieces a little bit insofar as there were a few stayers and there were a couple of horses like Accelerator not going that well, but you know, as Richie and I said off air before, if Darren had let him go up to 300, he would have won by 3 lengths, you know. In a sit and sprint situation like that, they didn't actually go that slow, but in a situation where he's allowed to sprint like that, he's pretty much unbeatable. And you know, I've never been a detractor of the horse. I've always said he's been so well suited at that caper, but I actually think he's a bit tougher this time, you know.
Look, he's a mature horse now, and I think he'll be able to last through a long preparation.
Richard, what do you say to the meat pie champion call?
Ah, they got no idea. They've got no idea, those people who think he's a meat pie champion. If you can win 20 out of 27, I don't care where you win them, you're a good horse. He's won them at the highest level. He hasn't won a big one in Melbourne. All right, he's won a McEwen Stakes.
Won a Caulfield Guineas.
And won a Caulfield Guineas, but he hasn't won a Cox Plate. All right, that's the only one he's got left to win. And I'm telling you, if you let him go at the top of the rise instead of hanging onto him so that he could just, you know, destroy his rivals under a hold on the bit, then he'd have won by 5, I reckon. I reckon he'd have won by 5 lengths, and then you'd be saying about all the horses that finished behind him, gee, oh, well, they're only stayers, and they're, you know, this is a ridiculous contention, Keith.
Speaking of saying
You're dead right, Richard, and the horses that finished behind him yesterday are very good horses. He makes them look ordinary horses. He has been beaten in some big ones, the George Main, the Cox Plate, the Doncaster. Probably needs to win another major to be classed as a champion, but he is a superstar. John Hawkes, his trainer, said only a matter of 5 minutes ago that he has 1 week to decide whether he'll run in the George Main or the Underwood, and he'll probably use up the whole week before making that decision.
These other horses.
At Group 3 level over 1,400 metres. The honour roll of this one's good. Victory Vane last year. Unworldly 3 years ago. Sunline back in 98. It's Regimental Gal 13 clear of Spur Scent, Shamika and Legally Bay. 1 from 4, 2 and 3. On course, I can tell you Regimental Gal is much longer odds than what you're seeing on the tote.
A variation between tote and course. Second pick on track is number 4, Spur Scent. Number 7 at Randwick. They're off. Legally Bay jumped very quickly from the outside. Regimental Galloway beautifully. Shamika jumped nicely. So did Spur Set. A length further back is Cousine, followed by Amana, and wider out is Unearthly, then Traffic. They work their way down to the 650 and the hot pot Regimental Gal. 3/4 to a length clear on Legally Bay. 2.5 away third at the 600 mark is Shamika. Similar margin Spur Centre. Then Cousine on the inner from Traffic Stopper. Then Sky Cuddle, followed by Amana, Unearthly, and the last pair Escarpment and Miss Ivy. Regimental Gal given more rain around the corner. She shifts a couple away from the rails. She's a length and a half Legally Bay and Shamika, followed by Spur Centre, then Kazine. Amana's on the fence from Unearthly as they come down to the 200. Oh, Regimental Gal's in trouble here. Shamika beat her off very quickly, and Shamika galloping out in the centre of the Randwick course proper is racing away from Regimental Gal and Spur Centre, and this is a great return by Shamika to beat Regimental Gal. Spur Set or Unearthly for third, and over on the inside, not far back, Miss Ivy. From Sky Cuddle, Legally Bay, Amana, Escarpment and Cousine. Second last, tailed right off, Traffic Stopper. Has run 1:22.36, so yet another record here today. Shamika first. It'll be a
Theo Unworldly won this race, and today Shamika adds the Furious Stakes to her honour roll. Very classy filly first up for the Gay Waterhouse Yard. If you've played for...
And I think she's a filly that can go all the way this time in.
Shamika had recorded a very big barrier trial win going into yesterday, and she's now the Victorian Oaks hope for the Gay Waterhouse stable. Regimental Gal yesterday, the 1,400 metres sorting her out.
Yeah, could have found her out. Sometimes it's a soft 1,400 at Randwick, but she was softened up by Legally Bay mid-race, and the winner was just too strong, had the right run, had a couple of trials leading into it. She does look strong, the winner, and has always had a huge rap on her. She could be, a filly for the Flight Stakes. I thought Unearthly's run was good for a staying point of view. Zabil mare, filly, who will train on, I'm sure.
I reckon Regimental Gal will win a 1,400 metre race, but she'll have to get it her own way, where she gets a soft lead and just can sprint away from them, because, as you said, Legally Bay softened her up, but tell you what, Legally Bay got more softened up than Regimental Gal did. I was a bit disappointed with Legally Bay.
After its first up, it was terrific.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Shamika, what can you say? I mean, her form's fairly well exposed, so I don't know what it says about the ones behind them.
Yeah, not much depth there. There was one in there that finished about midfield, Sky Cuddle. It didn't do a bad job either. It was
available for you for this Let's Elope, the fourth. Here are the ratings, and there's 4 equal top raters here, the 2, the 5, the 10 and the 12. And I can tell you that on track, Best Picture has had very good support and is extremely good odds on Super Tab. As you look at them, Let's Elope, Royal Sash has been going pretty good of late, and an interest the next in Sydney, heavily supported in the last 60 seconds. I can tell you that Macedon Lady's now being vetted as well, so there's a lot happening here with, of course, Tarcoola Diamond a late scratching, but very good solid support, number 12, Best Picture, and you're getting some good value at the moment, number 12 at... all right.
And they stand in now for the Let's Elope. Set. Racing now, written by Queen, jumping pretty swiftly towards the inside, and Il Trovatore first to bounce out. Best Picture went back at the start. She's last with Ice Maiden. Il Trovatore patches in front. Ain't Seen Nothing, a neck away second. Millanova deep in third. Il Trovatore now fourth on the inside. Royal Sash fifth, a neck away, and then came Reactive wide, followed by written by Queen, Thurman, White Mist, and then a length and a half, Best Picture, followed by Little Miss Quick, Zagalia, and swinging for home, Ice Maiden as last of all. Classic Patches at the 500, straightened up in front of Ain't Seen Nothing. Just behind them then is Millanova the outside, Il Trovatore behind the leader. Royal Sash is next, and Reactive coming down the outside, and next is Written by Queen, and they were followed by Best Picture. It's Classic Patches in front, Il Trovatore with the rail, Ain't Seen Nothing, and then Millanova Reactive on the outside. Classic Patches still in front. Ain't Seen Nothing is lifting in the last 100 metres. She answers the call. Ain't Seen Nothing draws on for a good win. Ain't Ain't Seen Nothing beat Classic Patches. Either Il Trovatore or Reactive for third. Zagalia rocketing home on the outside, followed by Best Picture written by Queen Villanova. Next it was Royal Sash, Thurman, Ice Maiden, and back towards the end of the field there is White Mist, one of the last to go over the line, and the late scratchings, 1 Macedon Lady and 5 Tarcula Diamond.
Head Andrew Bensley.
No doubt about that, and talking with Barbara, that's her first Flemington win. She was very, very excited, and Ain't Seen Nothing is off to the Underwood Stakes next. And I reckon when we update the fixed odds later regarding the Caulfield Cup, Ain't Seen Nothing will be right there.
Trains at Canberra, where they've had a bit of a rough time, but gee, that mare, we picked her out the other day. Actually, she's a very talented mare, and we picked her out the other day as running well. It was a slowly run race. They walked to the corner, and then it was only the first 3 or 4 had a chance of winning the race then, which only makes the efforts of Zagalia, who came from nearly last on the corner, so impressive, Keith.
Ain't Seen Nothing has had 7 wins and 3 placings from 11 starts. And look
around them, really good run.
What about the difference in prize money between? I was just looking at the prize money for that race, 125,000. The Chelmsford was only worth 150, and I think Ray Thomas made the comment in the paper on Friday. The difference in prize money between the Melbourne Spring Carnival early on and the Sydney one, well, I can't understand on good track there yesterday why there aren't more Sydney horses in Melbourne.
For the Ascot Vale, for the Ascot Vale, a race where occasionally a roughie can win. I remember standing where we were a few years ago with Spargo. Spargo winning the race as a 50-to-1 chance in 1999. And looking here at the moment, the outsider in the race is Face Value. There are the ratings for race 5. Largo Delight, the top rater, ahead of 9, 10 and 12. Let's look at the figures as they stand 14 minutes away. Fresh Boy and Kowita backing up from last week. Hawks' Sydney stables and is right in contention. The value on the tote at $2.50. Second pick on track would be Dorky, and then Keep the Faith, who's been spec late. But Largo Delight, the favourite, as we go to Greg Miles for the Ascot Vale Stakes.
And then Rodine would be the next in the market ahead of Dilly Dally. Off they go. Largo Delight jumped pretty well, so did Keep the Faith. Kowita going over their heels. Dorky was away all right. Scaredy Cat began very fast, and so did French Bit in the early stages. Let's Keep the Faith around the outside of Rodine, Fresh Boy. Wider out is Dilly Dally, and they're trailed by Dorky. Face Value's got well back on the inside, and Kowita last of all. French Bit went to the 500, 2.5 Largo Delight. San Simi on the inside, and then Scaredy Cat, Fresh Boy. Keep the Faith next under pressure the outside. Face Value looking for an out, and then Dilly Dally on the outside, and next Rodine and Dorky still well back from Kowita. Largo Delight swept to the lead. Scaredy Cat after it at the 200 metres. Wide out then Dilly Dally and Fresh Boy. Largo Delight from Scaredy Cat, Dilly Dally, Scaredy Cat, Largo Delight. This is a great battle. Scaredy Cat, Largo Delight, bob and go. Maybe Scaredy Cat a nose, Largo Delight. Dilly Dally 3 lengths away third. Dorky storming home, and it was over. Then came Fresh Boy, followed by Face Value, and further back was Keep the Faith. Next to finish, San Simeon, Rodine, Kowita, and French Bid dropped out to finish last.
We'll flash the number.
A shower of roses. There's the details on the Ascot Vale Stakes. Largo Delight's winning run comes to an end. Defeated by Scaredy Cat.
Take on the older horses in the Dubai Racing Cup.
Look, I'll have to talk to Gary Chittick and Mark Chittick and see what they want to do, but I think so. Yeah. I don't mind having a go, so we'll see what happens.
There's been a bit of a graveyard for 3-year-olds, the Ascot Vale. A lot of them haven't gone on throughout the season, but Scaredy Cat, he's a tough little bloke. I think we underrated him. Largo Delight, well, Jim Marconi said he's the next Kingston Town. You see him going to the front here in the red colours, Largo Delight, but Scaredy Cat's just about to claim him, and obviously going a little better than him. And I tell you what, it was a tough effort. Dilly Dally sort of hung in there for third. Dorky ran on very, very well. A couple of disappointing runs in the race. I thought the Tony McAvoy pair of San Simeon and Keep the Faith didn't do much. There's a bit of a traffic jam in that race as well. But Keith, what did you make of it?
Largo Delight pulled up a bit, saw he had it after winning at Moonee Valley, and he missed a run in the McNeil Stakes. That may have cost him a win. Jim Marconi thinks it did. By the same token, all honours with Scaredy Cat here, who was too strong for Largo Delight at the finish. Dorky ran the eye catcher, that's him in the cerise colours down the outside. And Face Value also had a luckless run. That was an enormous run. Keep the Faith, I agree with you, Richard. He cost $1.25 million. He's racing like a horse that was bought at a $2 store.
Oh, I think that's harsh. harsh. I think that's harsh.
Look, I think I've overrated the race. I was looking forward to that race yesterday, and
I still think they still ran pretty slick time.
I'm not worried about the time. I'm just looking at the depth of the race. So going into the race, I was thinking we had a few superstars there. Dorky charged home. She's got that Sydney form. I don't think there's anything between these 3-year-olds, Sydney and Mel.
I think you'll see him at his best in the Caulfield Guineas.
Yeah. Keith, you were right about face value. It was a super effort. It got badly checked at the 300, was never really balanced up and hit the line strongly. Tell you what, it's going to win a couple of races. We highlighted it a couple of weeks ago on Retro, and it's ready to win that horse for sure.
The boil over again in the Ascot Vale. I wonder what will happen in the Craiglee. 1,600 metres, the race due in 14 minutes. There are the ratings. Walk on Air is the top rater, number 3, ahead of Pentastic and Roman Arch and St Basil as well, all on 93. Let's bring you the latest tote figures. Bush Padre, not bad, 520 you would think. As you can see, there's a number of Cup winner resuming in number 10 on Saturday afternoon at the Craiglee. Scaredy Cat scared him off, held off Largo Delight to win the Ascot Vale. What will happen in the Craiglee? On track, a little bit of support late for Bush Padre. Walk on Air is supported in, just the last call coming in as well. Natural Blitz has been a drifter, Helenus a drifter. Craiglee in a very important...
Now, Mummify jump well. Roman Arch out the back with Bush Padre. Natural Blitz is also settling towards the end. Walk on Air finding the lead with St Basil in the early stages. And St Basil now running to the front over Roman Arch, quickly whipping around the field to go to side of Helenus. 2 lengths away Strasbourg, and they're trailed then by Pentastic over on the inside rail. Back behind him 2 lengths away is Honor Babe, and Natural Blitz last on the inside, about 9 from the leader at the 750, and St Basil the leader. They're not gone. They haven't gone all that fast. He's about ahead in front. Bush Padre second. Walk on Air right behind them third on the inside of the nose roll. He's trying to get away from the rails. Does so now. Roman Arch swung wide, and Helenus is coming deeper. And then came Strasbourg, and back behind them is in the field Honor Babe, and Natural Blitz one of the last on the inside, but they're bunched at the 400 metres. Bush Padre after St Basil. Walk on Air in the clear. Roman Arch putting in a run down the outside. Helenus is the widest runner. Mummify getting a run through. Natural Blitz is also putting in a run down near the inside. 150 metres to go. Walk on Air, Mummify, Roman Arch. Helenus is putting in. Pentastic is late. Walk on Air just had the lead. Pentastic's diving through between horses. He's got him. Pentastic. He's come from nowhere and won it from either Walk on Air or Mummify. Strasbourg is close up. Then Honor Babe out wide. They stretch right across the track, those horses. In behind them there was Natural Blitz, Roman Arch, St Basil, Helenus. Stand by for numbers here. This has been a fantastic finish. They were right across the track.
Up form is good with this horse. You've got a good team of prospective Cup stayers coming up. Where do you put Pentastic in that group?
Oh, look, he's been there and done it before. He's been around the Sydney Cup as a 3-year-old. He's run the Melbourne Cup as a 4-year-old. I think he's probably the, he's the one that most people should have the respect for because he's proven at the distance, I think.
Well done, David.
Who's 5'10" and rides at 53.5 kilos. Gee, he does a magnificent job, Stephen Arnold. And the big double yesterday, you could not give him enough raps. So I tell you what, this race, I reckon there was 6 horses in it that will figure in big races this spring. It's not always the winner of the Craiglee that goes on to have a huge spring, although that was an extremely good run from Pentastic. But he can do that, Pentastic, and we do sort of know his form. There were some other horses finished behind him who I thought were great runs, one of whom was Mummify. I thought Helenus wasn't a bad run. If you want to throw in some others there, I'll throw in Strasbourg, Honor Babe.
What about Natural Blitz? He was charging up the fence and got stopped in his tracks.
Absolutely. Keith, do you agree?
Oh, totally, I agree with all of that. Natural Blitz, there he is on the fence. He's 2 lengths ahead of the winner, Pentastic, in the blue with the white cap. No run, Pentastic, with Stephen Arnold sweating on a run. It doesn't come until 100 metres from the post. In the meantime, Natural Blitz finishes second last. Strasbourg, Honor Babe, some terrific runs out of that race. Don't know about the Derby winner yet. He's going to Bart Cummings too. Leon Corstens, of course, being suspended. That starts today for 3 months. So Bart Cummings will take over as trainer.
Yeah, I think I'm not convinced he's going that well, Helenus. I tell you, I know he didn't. He had a sort of semi-tough run there, and it was half not suited. But he'd had enough at the 100. They went 20 yards past the post, and he was back. Hang on. He was back to second last. He didn't go on past the winning post.
Yeah, he's a big bull. He's probably only half fit.
No, I don't reckon he's right.
I think he went much better. He had the toughest run in the race.
He sat 4 lengths off them with cover.
Yeah, I know.
And then he got sprayed on the turn a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just don't reckon he's flying.
Geez, was a bunch finish. You can make a case for all runners there.
I don't think he's flying.
They ran quick last 600 too. They really accelerated from the turn.
Well, the early sections were the second.
Flemington. Let's have a look at the Sky ratings. Leon McDonald's horse Naden is joint equal top pick with Mr. Lofty. 4 and 5 ahead of Titanic Jack and Bomber Bill. And in this big field for the Bobby Lewis quality, let's look at the latest tote figures. Bomber Bill backing up and is likely to also back up next week in the Group 1 match. Step ahead, the Big Chill at 420. Yeah, I reckon it'll be interesting to see what else the Big Chill looks like in the mount against the tote favourite. You're right on the mark at $4. They are the two that are being supported late. I can tell you that Emission, as we mentioned earlier, was spec'd at double-figure odds. $23 odd is also some value.
Jumping well with Step Ahead, Sir Chuckle away fast, and so is Smoking Barrel. Mr. Lofty jump well. The Big Chill's coming out this side too. Although there's a split, they're going up the middle as well. Debrief trying to head this way. Sir Chuckle's covering some ground early, and he's heading towards the middle of the track, and the Big Chill's going up the centre of the course with him. On the flat side, course with the Big Chill, and on this grandstand side at the 600 metres, by gee, they might even have the overall lead. Naden in front of Step Ahead. Mr. Lofty, the baldy-faced galloper, holding third in that division, followed by Smoking Barrel, Titanic Jack easing over their heels, and Debrief. On the other side, Bohemian Rhapsody and Chintaro. Bomberbill coming at them. The Big Chill putting in a run up the middle of the track. On this grandstand side, Titanic Jack sweeps to the front. Titanic Jack hit the lead on this side. Bomberbill on the far side, and the Big Chill in the middle. What a finish. It's Titanic Jack and Bomberbill wide apart, and I think Titanic Jack. I'll give it to Titanic Jack. Bomberbill's right in it on the inside, and the Big Chill between them runs third. A terrific finish to the Bobby Lewis. Debrief made some ground on the outside. Bohemian Rhapsody held on well down on the flat. Constructor Moustachial, Sir Chuckle, Emission and Chintaro. And Mr. Lofty was the next in the outside division out there in company with Smoking Barrel, Step Ahead, and Naden. Bomber Bill easily beating the flat side, and the Big Chill having to race up the middle of the track. A difficult essay. So many times she's ended up...
Cup there in a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah, for sure. That's been our aim all along, and it'd be a lovely race to win. Just be nice to draw a good barrier.
Always had a big rap on Titanic Jack, and he produced up the straight yesterday. He really spaced his outside division, who ended up being in front, and it was a clever ride from Brett Preble. You see him go to the outside of them here. He just takes control of the outside division, and then he tries to come back over to the outside rail, so he gets the better part of the track, and he ends up putting about 4 or 5 on them in quick space on the outside. But old Bomber Bill, geez, keeps doing it, Keith, which only leads me to believe that there aren't many up-and-coming sprinters.
I think you're right again, Richard. Titanic Jack is he's pretty good. He has won up to 1,600 metres, and he'll probably go to that distance again. Brett Preble's riding in fine style. Had a double yesterday. That followed a treble at Caulfield the week before. Titanic Jack is probably the horse to follow out of the race.
The third mare, the Big Chill, she doesn't win often, but just does enough to get you in again the next time. She had some sort of excuse, just stranded in the middle there on her own.
She was stranded, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was just left alone.
I think Yell and Spinning Hill have got plenty on those.
I think so.
Yeah. Of the others there, Debrief, it ran 4th. It was just a fair run, but it's a horse that always takes...
Within the next week. But there was better news from the Godolphin stable, confirming emerging star Mamul will run in our greatest race in preference to the Arc de Triomphe. Mamul scheduled to contest a Group 1 feature in Germany at the end of the month before entering quarantine. The 4-year-old and ever-shortening Melbourne Cup favourite with bookmakers, now a $9 chance ahead of local hopes Mummify and Pentastic at $15.
It's been confirmed that the horse will come and run in the Melbourne Cup. It's a fantastic horse. I think punters have taken the viewpoint that the local horses aren't outstanding this year.
Damien Booth, 10 News.
To the feature race in Sydney today, the Theo Stakes, and it's coming up in 12 minutes. Private Steer is the top raider, ahead of Grand Army, Fiery Venture and Defier. Defier this afternoon will have to carry top weight of 61 kilos, and plenty of people think he can be big for the running of the Theo Stakes.
Yes, Joe, what an absorbing race we're coming into. Walks forward, And we're set for the Ridges Parramatta. Theo Marks, and they're off and running a great start. And the rank outsider, Archway in front, but not for long. Grand Army heads him off. Oscar Warrior improving. And so too Fiery Venture. Army by 3/4 of a length. Oscar Warrior, Archway a little more than a length away, third by the 800. Fiery Venture is running fourth, followed closely by Private Steer inside of Defier. And the last pair, Masquerado and Helsingborg. This is the order. 600 to go in the Theo Marks and the heavily backed Grand Army. 3/4 of a length, Oscar Warrior, Fiery Venture, Archway, Private Steer, getting away from the rails. Defiers on her outside from Masquerado and Helsingborg. They straighten up now, and Grand Army taken on by Oscar Warrior. Fiery Venture tackling the pair. Archway, Private Steer hanging badly, then Defier. Grand Army with a kick, and at the distance, Grand Army from the stablemate, Fiery Venture from Oscar Warrior, and the others are struggling. Fiery Venture going to Grand Army. Fiery Venture put the nose in front, and Fiery Venture wins it from Grand Army. Photo third, Oscar Warrior with Archway, followed by Private Steer, and then came Defier. Second last, Masquerado, and Helsingborg was Absolute. Fiery Venture wins the Theo Marks. Here are the totes. Number 5, Fiery Venture, $10.70 and $2.10. Number 2, $1.20. Number 4, $3.20.
Start Ron Duffy.
Well, look, it wasn't a big surprise. He's just one of these up-and-coming horses that have snuck up on us. He's won 6 from 9 now. He had no weight in that race. He had the perfect run, and I just feel we've underrated the horse.
Well, he had won 3 in a row this preparation, hadn't he? He had an ease up and a couple of nice barrier trials. He went really well, the horse. I still think Grand Army's run was good. I know Richie doesn't really think so, but his first up run was fantastic. He was never on the track. He did the bullock work there yesterday. Oscar Warrior gave him no peace. They basically headed him at the 300. He was still ahead behind him at the winning post. I think that horse has got a couple of real big runs in store for it, because the figures he showed coming back this preparation, he's come back better. Defier. Well, Defier. Yeah, well, there he goes. He keeps whacking away. Archway was probably a little bit unlucky not to run a place, and it finished off slightly better than Defier. And Private Steer in between them there, she was sore and still kept up.
You could see she was sore there.
Yeah. Which leads me to be very intrigued by your rap on Grand Army, because I thought that he got to the front fairly easily. OK, he carried a few kilos more than the others, but he was rated, and maybe I've overrated him, because he's beaten that horse of Chris Lee's a length. What's that? Oscar Warrior. He's beaten him a length. He's beaten Archway a length.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you've got horses like Defier, who's missed work. He's had problems. And Chris Muntz wasn't wasn't too harsh on him over the last 100 metres. He sort of kidded him home. He's only been beaten, what, a length and a quarter. And you've got the other filly, Private Steer, who was crabbing it. She's been beaten a length and a quarter. I mean, I can't wrap him on the run. I was disappointed with Grand Army.
He's had two runs.
Of our opinion. And perhaps, Keith Hillier, you won't be seeing Private Steer in Melbourne contesting the Cox Plate later this spring.
No, I wouldn't think so, Joan.
And in racing, hopefully it's not a serious injury and we can get her back on track. Look, I was a little bit worried about her first up win. I thought she went into that race gross under the odds. I think she's got a false rap on her. I think she's an outstanding mare, but she's not a Cox Plate
You
horse.
are out of your mind.
What?
She is an outstanding mare. If she'd have gone straight in that, she'd have won, and you'd have all been rapping her and gushing over her then.
Well,
and
you were just gushing about the
you keep bagging Defier, and you will be exposed as a mug. If you do that.
I definitely will. Definitely will. He's had 19 starts in group races and won 5 times.
Yeah, well,
you can have him.
Look, I don't think we can fairly assess Private Steer after yesterday, in all honesty.
My mail is, sorry,
there was an obvious problem.
Yeah, my mail is that the horse is going for a spell.
Well, that might be right, and that'd be sad. But you know, she's a very good mare. Any doubts about her ability?
Were you giving her a legitimate chance in a race like the Cox Plate?
Yes.
Turn it up.
Now that she's going to the paddock.
Oh, dear.
Which we don't know. That's just a rumour.
The main ones there, Snip Attack $4.90, Happy Strike at $3.30. The next page of betting revealing Fragmentation is the best of those.
CSA Stakes, named after one of the great trainers. He won 13 Victorian premierships. I'm sure that the McAvoy stable would be trying very hard to win this race if they could, with Living Spirit and Fragmentation. Getting in, they're off and racing, and a beautiful start. Patiro and Snip Attack show out the fragmentation. Living Spirit, Syrinx and Happy Strike getting through on the inside as Snip Attack, the leader, coming up the side to fragmentation, and Living Spirit trying to make a line of 3. Happy Strike in behind them, boxed up with Syrinx on his outside, and then Patiro, Youth, Manakama, followed by On Focus, and then Dress Code, and last is Rasun. Snip Attack and fragmentation are the 2 leaders by about 2 lengths coming around the turn. Happy Strike is searching for an out as they swing for home now. Snip Attack, fragmentation, Happy Strike about to get clear, but he's not going on at the moment, where fragmentation and Snip Attack are the 2 leaders. 100 to go. Youth is coming with a run between them. Happy Strike winds up. Fragmentation in front. Happy Strike and Youth drove up on the fence, and Youth has got through. Youth has got up to win it from fragmentation and Happy Strike. And Manakama made nice ground on the outside. Next, Snip Attack, followed in by Syrinx. Then Batiro, a long break then to Living Spirit, who had a very hard run.
Okay, very rarely do we see Stephen Arnold riding in the All Cerise.
Line, but a youth there in the Cerise colours makes it a City hat-trick. That's his 3rd successive win in town, and he went around yesterday at 20 to 1. Quite amazing. This race last year was won by Yell, and they're in the same colours as Youth, with Stephen Arnold aboard. Pretty impressive. He got the breaks, but it was he deserved the breaks because he was so well ridden. Stephen Arnold won the 2 big ones at Flemington last week, and he's kept his form rolling.
Look, he looks a real strong horse to me, that horse. I don't know about the depth of the race, but he was always trucking. He went back from barrier 11, found the fence, and never going to be beaten once he saw daylight. That surprised me, the odds of the horse as well. I thought he was way over the odds, not that I backed him.
He's a big lopey strider, isn't he?
Review of the Feehan Stakes, one of the features today at Moonee Valley. Top raider, La Zagaletta, the Memsie Stakes winner. Vocabulary, $11 Bush Padre, the stablemate. $35 for Piace, expected to improve today. Chattanooga at $16. $24 De Gaulle Lane, Pure Thea, Natural Blitz, $4.60. $24 Vicksburg, Penny on Feehan Stakes.
Placed in the Queensland Oaks, she goes in next to La Zagaletta. Old marvel he is. He ran 3rd in this race last year. 2nd in it in the year 2000. Piace goes into the stall, set to run. The Group 2 Feehan. All cleared her off now. And Vocabulary jumped OK. Zvezda, one of the first out. Natural Blitz a little slow. He's settling at the end of the field with Chattanooga and Pure Theatre and Vocabulary striding over the field to find the lead early. But here's pressure from outside now. Zvezda and De Gaulle Lane particularly is driving for the lead and out of options just off them. So De Gaulle Lane goes to the front in Chattanooga, Cumbria, and Natural Blitz is last of all, about 12 off the leader. De Gaulle Lane at the 800 by a length and a half. Out of options second. Zvezda's a length away 3rd. Pure Theatre a half length away 4th. Vocabulary a length back 5th on the inside. Now the speed is very genuine. They're followed then by Vicksburg around the outside of Penny Gem. 1.5 to Bush Padre, just tickled along a little bit, followed by La Zagaletta, Chattanooga, Piace, Cumbria hard ridden, and Natural Blitz starting a long run. It's De Gaulle Lane, the leader, coming towards the 400, got away by 2.5 out of options. Vocabulary is making ground along the inside now. Zvezda's under pressure. La Zagaletta's coming through on the fence, and Natural Blitz winds up wide. De Gaulle Lane running a big race. He's cornering by 2. Vocabulary gives chase now. Natural Blitz, the widest, is still coming, and then La Zagaletta. De Gaulle Lane grabbed by Vocabulary. Natural Blitz is after Vocabulary. Vocabulary about a head in front of De Gaulle Lane. Natural Blitz driving now. Natural Blitz grabbing the lead, and Natural Blitz, a deserved win over Vocabulary. 3rd, De Gaulle Lane ran a great race. Next, out of options, battled strongly. Piace ran on. La Zagaletta next, followed then by Bush Padre, Penny Gem, and behind these to finish Cumbria, Chattanooga, and they were trailed further back by Zvezda and Pure Theatre with Vicksburg last in. Well, does he deserve that? Number 10, Natural Blitz taking it out. $5 has got to the lead just after they turned for home, but Natural Blitz proved too strong. 10, 14, 5. De Gaulle Lane running along strongly in front, and he didn't shirk the issue. His effort was good.
We're always been hoping to run on the Cox Plate, and he's got a nice weight in the Caulfield Cup. Karen thinks there's no worries distance of the Caulfield Cup for him. I was just that wrapped.
And so you should be. That was an absolutely super effort from Natural Blitz. When he was passing horses down the side, he's passing good horses who were at their top, and he was going past them like they were nailed to the running rail. He got sprayed around the corner because I still think that corner was a bit sharp, and then he balanced up with 50 metres to run and nailed Vocabulary, who'd had the beautiful run in behind, and was a good run, but had a beautiful run. And the leader, De Gaulle Lane, well, he'd set a pretty good pace and battled on really well. You see Vocabulary there claiming De Gaulle Lane, but Natural Blitz, well, he might be a Cox Plate horse, Keith, and, you know, as far out as this far, I think he's probably the best trial I've seen so far.
It was only a week ago, Richard, that we pointed to his second last performance in the Craiglee Stakes and made the comment that if he'd got a clear crack at them in the straight, he would have been in the finish. Well, there he is in the lime green colours, gathering in Vocabulary now. A terrific performance. He was near last at the 800 metres, made a 600-metre run and won the race. Vocabulary's performance was very good. She's like...
And that's the Group 1, the first Group 1 of the season here in Australia. And Yell, his top rater. Yell, of course, last season's champion sprinter. Spinning Hill with a rating of 97. Lovely Jubbly, 97. And Bomber Bill rates with 90. Yell is the even money favourite. Bomber Bill, 660. Long odds Tears, Royal and True Glow, Civil long odds too. Spinning Hill, $5.90. Lovely Jubbly at $6.50. The Big Chill.
Titanic Jack last week was in his wake, super elegant of course. So the form's come up well. This is Lovely Jubbly the grey. Going into the stalls for Damien Oliver. Set for the Manikato. All clear, they're off. Yell winning the jump on the outside and was away brilliantly. Spinning Hill shows a bit of dash today. Lovely Jubbly settles third, and they're followed by Yell in second, placing 2 lengths away. Spinning Hill a lot handier than we expected. On the inside is Civil in the all gold, followed by True Glow. Bomber Bill just easing a little off heels there, followed by the Big Chill and Tears Royal as last. Lovely Jubbly came up the side, led by about a half a length to Yell. True Glow makes a line of 3 on the outside. Civil behind them from Spinning Hill. Then Bomber Bill getting to the outside, followed by Tears Royal, and the Big Chill is 2 lengths away. Up towards the turn now, and it is a line of 3. True Glow out wide, Yell in the middle, Lovely Jubbly on the rail, clear to Bomber Bill, Tears Royal and Spinning Hill waits on a run, followed by Civil as they swing around the turn now. Yell in the middle, True Glow the outside, Lovely Jubbly. True Glow takes the lead, Yell's in bother. Spinning Hill is descending with a big run. Spinning Hill race to True Glow. Yell can't go on. The Big Chill runs on well, but it's Spinning Hill. What a wonder mare. Spinning Hill beats True Glow, a great race. The Big Chill third, and then came Civil, who held on well. Yell battled only. The Lovely Jubbly's finished just ahead of him, in fact. And then a long break to Bomber Bill, and Tears Royal last in. 7 years of age, she's winning Group 1 races. Extraordinary mare, beautifully presented by Guy Walter and handled particularly well by Patrick Payne. She joins some wonderful horses who've won this race. A beautiful win, fantastic performance.
One of her greatest wins today. She's won easily. And 7-year-old mare, as they pointed out to me this morning, first time for 50 years. Yeah. 7-year-old mare's won a Group 1 race. So it's a wonderful moment for all of us, and she's given us so many great times.
Is this equal to it, or is it better than what she's given you in the past?
Oh, well, I think this is an absolute career highlight for her today. Absolutely.
I think the Guy Walter there was giving a bit of a dig to the connections of Yell, and I'll tell you what, she was very dominant, and she went to the line beautifully. She would have won, no matter how many times you ran that race, she would have won that race, but there were some fair runs behind it too. She had the beautiful run in behind them by Patrick Payne there. You see her going past True Glow, who'd sat outside the leader in the breeze and gave Spinning Hill 2.5 kilos, as he did the Big Chill, who ran third. So I think he stamped himself as a Group 1 horse, True Glow there, but...
the Big Chill.
She's a little bit slow away today, and I sort of had to...
He was disappointing. Like, True Glow put that pressure on a long way from home, and both Yell and Lovely Jubbly cracked there, but... oh, what a good mare this is. She just produces year in, year out. She's been well looked after by Guy Walter, and just a terrific performance. Geez, True Glow's run was enormous. Like, this is the horse that won the Queensland Guineas, I think, beating Sportsman Look, if I was Lee Freedman, I'd consider bringing this horse to Sydney for the Epsom. He's proven this way, Sydney way of going, and he seems to be peaking at the right time. What about the horse only having his third start there, Civil? He won a maiden at Sale or something, and first up in that race yesterday. That was an amazing performance.
He'd be a good thing in a Class 1, I reckon. The set weights.
Should make mention of a couple of things there.
Right.
Patrick Payne's ride. Spinning Hill has now had 3 wins at Group 1 level, and Patrick Payne has been aboard every time, so he's a Group 1 performer too, like her.
In the research, the Stock Stakes, a Group 3 for mares, over 1,600 metres. The David Hall trained Maccabi Diva, top raider ahead of Sunday Joy, Legible and Rose Archway. Here's the market, a pretty open one. $10 Rose Archway, Maccabi Diva, $6.30, 14 She's Archie. Liberty Road, Sunday Joy, $6.70, 29 written by Queen, Legible, $4.50.
To the inside, Liberty Rose goes up. Monda Special getting a lead in now, and the Mighty Lions is coming up also, who had no luck last time out. In the race, and Legible began fast. Rose Archway away very quickly. Maccabi Diva gets back in the early stages. Liberty Rose have begun fast, and so did Best Picture, who's driving up towards the front runners this afternoon. As they run to the 1200 turn, she's about 6 or 8 wide, but she's going to be with them. Written by Queen, now headed off by Best Play, and in the run to the turn at the 800, Best Picture by 2, Liberty Rose. Written by Queen, third the inside. Sunday Joy closer to the rails in 4th placing within 4 lengths of the leader. Back behind them, Legible on the inside, and then came Muscadet, Monda Special, the Mighty Lions, 2 lengths to Rose Archway. She's followed Marwena Lass, Ali Cat, Maccabi Diva, second last on the inside with She's Archie at the 500. Best Picture a neck in front of Liberty Rose. Sunday Joy third, and Written by Queen right behind them, and then Legible, Muscadet, Monda Special, the Mighty Lions being hard ridden as they come to the corner. Maccabi Diva still second last as they cornered now. Liberty Rose took the lead from Best Picture. Sunday Joy is still there on the outside, and then came Legible, and the rest are headed by Muscadet. Liberty Rose in front. Sunday Joy is trying desperately hard. She's getting there at every stride. Takes the lead now. Sunday Joy about a head in front, nearing the line, and the Oaks winner. Sunday Joy a long head to Liberty Rose. Brilliant photo for third. Maccabi Diva flying home when it was over, and Monda Special. Then Rose Archway, followed by Written by Queen. Legible didn't finish off. Ali Cat, and then came She's Archie. Best Picture, Muscadet, Marwena Lass, the Mighty Lions last of all.
Well, let's join Andrew Bensley. He's with Singo.
Okay, yeah, back here with John Singleton. John, Gay's in Sydney, and she's said on Sky Channel, our pubs and clubs, that you're off to the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, we are. She was very confident early on that this is a Melbourne Cup horse, and that's why we thought today a mile first up, going around the wrong mile the right way. Yeah. Depending how you look at it. You know, we thought, well, let's hope she runs well, but she's a lot better than that, didn't she?
What were the expectations, mate, if you... we're preempting here, but if you win the Melbourne Cup, are you going to shout the bar that day?
Bloody oath. Wouldn't you?
Where are you going to go? You've got races in...
Group 1 winner of the Oaks. She loves to sting a little bit out of the ground, and I just thought it was a nice race for her to kick off in.
Yeah, it sure was a nice race. She got in with 55 kilos as an Oaks winner in that race, and that is the beautiful piece of placement there. But to do it first up, that's an extra special effort because although she'd had a few trials, very, very hard to sit on the pace here and take the lead. Well, she claimed the leaders on the corner after sitting 3 deep. You saw Damien Oliver just have a little peek over his shoulder there. He knew he was going pretty well. She's just a little unbalanced. He gives her a cut to keep her straight around the corner. And then she goes on to claim Liberty Rose there, who ran a super race. But Keith, they're all honours with the winner, who's a very good mare.
She's a good mare. She's an Oaks winning mare. She was the first $1 million yearling at the Gold Coast sales, and Singo was in town yesterday. I think the bookmakers felt the brunt of his presence because she was back late Sunday Joy and won narrowly, but well, she was a training feat for Gay Waterhouse. It's difficult to win first up at 1,600 metres. You'll spot another set of blue colours storming home out wide. That's Maccabi Diva. That was the eye-catching run of the race. Maccabi...
Area 12 there, it was an excellent performance. Like, this filly or this mare's never gone round that way. She's never had a look at Moonee Valley. She got a little lost on the turn, and I thought it was a terrific performance. Maccabi Diva, oh, it's got a flashing light on it.
Yeah, wasn't it a brilliant win? And Maccabi Diva, if it had got luck, it might have won, you know.
Yeah, I think it might have.
If it had started up here Sunday, Joe, it wouldn't have started 11-2. It would have probably started 6-4.
Well, it's been flying in trials and juggling. It's really matured, that mare, I'll tell you.
Sunday.
And more racing on the international front. The Irish St Leger run overnight at the Curragh, and Vinnie Rowe made history by becoming the first horse to win the St Leger for a third time. The 5-year-old, trained by Dermot Weld and ridden by Pat Smullen, headed the pacemaking gamut over a furlong out and galloped on strongly to the line in the Group 1 contest.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Dermot does with him. He won't be telling us, of course, but if he does come to Australia, which is still on the cards, although the Arc, probably, Richard, is the preferred option.
The Arc, yeah, I'd say that's probably looking more likely for Vinnie Rowe. I'm sure Dermot doesn't really want to bring him down here if he thinks he's going to cop a firm track, that's for sure.
Gerard Whateley, 10. The attrition rate for the Melbourne Spring Carnival continues at an alarming rate, with 2 more major casualties from track work this morning. But Cummings' stable star Magical Miss has been officially retired. Her ill-fated comeback was brought to a halt after X-rays revealed hairline fractures in her leg. And Caulfield Cup favourite Clangalang suffered a tendon injury at Randwick. The Gerald Ryan-trained 4-year-old had been a clear top pick since his AJC Derby victory back in April.
It was a $9 favourite before the scratching this morning. Magical Miss was $21 before it got scratched, and both have been well supported. One being the favourite and B being with Bart Cummings. I can't remember a doubles in previous years being having so many early scratchings.
Bookmakers have been forced to radically overhaul spring markets. Alan Iskander has installed the Lee Friedman-trained Mummifiers, the new Caulfield Cup favourite, ahead of Mackay Diva and Grand Army in an extremely cramped market.
On the big race today, the Cameron Handicap from Newcastle. This is the top rater from So Assertive, Zabara and Wyangan Pine, 6, 10, 2 and 3 for the ratings. And the market, we've got Wyangan Pines, they're at $5. Crawl, 1,000 already in the pool, 23 minutes out. Gay's horse So Assertive has come up at $3.20.
Stowaway coming up, one of 3 greys. Diamond. And so back, they're off a beautiful start too, and Brits Best and Stowaway with Archway out well, and so was Stormy Joe. So Assertive rushing up looking for the lead, and then a length's gap to Diamond, about 2 to Wyangan Pine. Horns down the side they go, 800 out in the Cameron, and Stormy Joe shows the way, 3/4 So Assertive, 1.5 to Archway, Brits Best on the outside, and then comes Stowaway, followed by Diamond. Wyangan Pines is making some ground, 2.5 Silver Duke, then Crawl, followed by Zabara, and Thorns is last as they turn for home. And Stormy Joe first into the straight, 3/4 So Assertive. Brits Best being called upon by Robbo, then Archway. Stowaway not far away, Diamond, Wyangan Pines, and Thorns is coming down the outside from Crawl and Zabara. So Assertive got to the front, 150 to go. On the outside, Brits Best, the inside, Stormy Joe. Archway's running a mighty race with Stowaway. Archway hits the front, it's Archway's Cameron. Photo Stowaway and Brits Best for minors. On the fence was Zabara, Diamond not far away, and the same for Crawl, and then So Assertive, followed up by Stormy Joe weakening.
The Cameron Handicap on Archway coming off a last start, 4th, beaten a length in the Theo marks. That, of course, was behind Fiery Venture. Too good for Brits Best. And very good afternoon, everyone. My thanks to Matthew Browning for
the ratings are with Gilded Youth, Niello, Play Around, and All Gonna Do It, 4, 5, 6 and 1. Running double at Cranbourne, 4 and 2, $108.50 on race 7. Now the Spring Stakes in 15 minutes, and Niello, number 5 at $2, ahead of again today in the Spring Stakes. Niello's the favourite ahead of Gilded Youth.
They're racing. Play Around got the best of the start. Dan Bird jumped out pretty well. Gilded Youth is nice and handy. So too is Tumler, followed then by All Gonna Do It, Fangio, Niello, and 3 lengths to the filly Eastern City. Tumler, the leader at the 800. A length over Dan Bird, and 2 to Gilded Youth in no man's land from Fangio. Niello given a cosy run, 2.5 to All Gonna Do It. Play Around on its outside at Eastern City brings up the rear. 5.50 to go in the Han Premium Spring Stakes, and it's Tumler. A length or so on Danbird as they commence the run around the corner. Niello waiting for the run. Gilded Youth wide. There's a gap for Niello now. And straightening coming past the 300. Niello goes between Tumbler and Danbird. Then Gilded Youth all going to do it, seeing daylight and then play around. Danbird in front. Tumbler gone on the inside. Niello, and here's Beedman on All Gonna Do It, looking for 5 for the day. All Gonna Do It runs up to Niello, heads him off, and All Gonna Do It. Far too good. Second placing Niello, third Danbird, then Gilded Youth, Eastern City, Fangio, Tumbler, and Play Around. That man, Beedman, has done it again.
Winning the Group 3 Spring Stakes, and that was the value bet. Number 1, all...
Last night, Casual Pass won the Bill Stutt Stakes at Moonee Valley. Jockey Noel Callow setting a state record with 24 wins in a month.
And it's Casual Pass brilliantly. Casual Pass beat Special Harmony.
Michael Roberts, National 9 News.
Bill Stutt Stakes on Friday night. A disappointing crowd, however, the weather wasn't all that good. Nevertheless, Casual Pass is continuing to improve beautifully on his way to the Norman Robinson. Possibly a late nom after that for the Derby. And
Stakes for the 3-year-olds, and Hasna comes in as the top rater. Best Northern, Sticks and Stones and Polar Success, 6, 1, 4 and 5. And Hasna at $1.20, completely...
Race coming up, the Heritage Stakes, 12 months. Ready. Racing in the Heritage, beautiful start. Hasna poked ahead in front, not for long. Sticks and Stones and Best Northern beat her off, and going up quickly, Polar Success. Travel and Best Northern is the leader. About a half length or so now, Sticks and Stones, and third posse a length and 3/4 away, Polar Success. Dan Beasley had a quick peep to the right and saw Hasna a length and a half behind him on the fence. And then solid as a rock, Olympus, and 2.5 to Lariata. This is the order down to the corner, and Best Northern in front. First up today for new trainer Paul Perry, and Best Northern a length and a half. Sticks and Stones is second. Hasna bailed away third from Polar Success. All Polar Success is rider Danny Beasley holding in Lenny Beasley on Hasna, but Lenny's getting into the clear on the favourite now in the meantime. The Queenslander Sticks and Stones got to the front, but Hasna's picking her up quickly, and Lariata, the country filly's running a big race. Forget Polar Success, but Hasna races clear, and the 2-year-old of the year for last season is clearing out Hasna from Lariata, and Hasna a brilliant performance to win it. Hasna from Lariata and Sticks and Stones, Olympus, Polar Success, and then solid as a rock, and Best Northern gave up meekly to finish last. She's a very, very good filly, isn't she? Number 6, Hasna. And 2 lengths a neck, a comprehensive win, and Hasna paid $1.50 and a...
So where do we move to next with Hasna?
Well, she'll be nominated for the Stan Fox over 1,400. Her goals are both the Flight Stakes and Guineas.
Well, what can be said there? Hasna, she's a tough
I'm a
thing,
bit critical
isn't
of Lenny's ride on Hasna. I know he's won the race and he's got out of a pocket, but I thought he was overly aggressive on a filly that is extremely valuable with a lot further to go this spring. And you see here, Polar Success with Danny Beasley on, all he was trying to do was hold his ground and hold Hasna in a pocket. He's entitled to do that. And Lenny got into a scrum with him, and, you know, look at the way they finished, like Brown's cows. There was always going to be room. I suppose that's with hindsight, but... Gee, you know.
Look, if I took the $1.50, I'd be wanting him to push out here.
What if you owned the filly, Ronnie?
Look, I don't care. Look.
God's listening.
We're talking about a race here. We're talking about a race. You know, and she's 2's on. She's $1.50 in the market. What do you want to just sit behind a thing going backwards there and let...
It wasn't going backwards. There's always going to be space. No, Jimmy would have sat there.
Look, Polar Success would have dictated to him all the way down the straight if she was going good enough. He had to get out.
She wasn't. He should have known that.
Look, she's all heart. She's just all heart, the winner. I was really concerned about her coming into this preparation. She just doesn't hurt herself in trials or in track work. She's a racehorse. She relaxes in her races. She's just a real little professional.
To have a look at their filly Shamika, who goes around at very short odds. The Secret Savings filly, owned by Nasaluta. She's at $1.30, and there's just been a little bit of money for nothing seriously back to beat Shamika.
3 Charm Viewers currently $10, and $1.90 is the second pick there. Like over the 3 months with Clary there. Luck over the 3, Munchie with Clary. It was a great start. Shamika out very, very quickly, and Sky Cuddle's racing the favourite. So too, right up there in the early stages, Ike's Dream with Miss Ivy. And not all that far away as Jewel of the Nile as they start to sort themselves out now. And who is going to lead? It's going to be Sky Cuddle at the end of 350 metres, about a neck or so. On Shamika in third. They work their way inside the 600. And Sky Cuddle leads the way. 3/4 Shamika getting closer with every bound. Jewel of the Nile on the inside. In the centre, Miss Ivy, and around the outside goes Paint by Numbers, then Unearthly, Due by Ruby, Extreme Charm View. In the straight, 300 metres ahead of them here, and Sky Cuddle taken on in earnest by Shamika, and quickly Shamika raced to the front, and Shamika put about 2 lengths clear on Miss Ivy in second posse, followed by Unearthly getting home late, but it's all Shamika, and down to the post goes the favourite to win it easily. Shamika beat Unearthly, and Miss Ivy's run third, fourth on the outside Extreme, fifth was Sky Cuddle, followed home then by on the inside Jewel of the Nile, and a good margin away. Next in the run was Charm View from Due by Ruby and Absolute Paint by Numbers. Repeating 1:30.01, 34.16 the sectional time, and the margins being posted now.
At Rosehill, what can we say about Shamika? Only that she was in a class of her own yesterday.
Oh, exactly. She was in a class of her own. The rest of the field was, you know, not that strong, I wouldn't think. I thought the best run of the race was by Unearthly. The second horse, it made up a lot of nice ground, and with probably the best part of its race was the last 100 metres. It really did get to the line strongly. Extreme covered a fair bit of ground. It didn't.
So like, this was a procession for the winner, Shamika. There was a jog trot up front, a sprint home, and she was always going to outsprint them.
Yeah.
Unearthly was the best run in the race. Wait till this filly gets to an Oaks distance, although she's had a long sort of preparation, but to come off that slow speed and sprint home the way she did, I thought was an excellent performance. But a good effort by the winner, but could have been a little flattered.
And that dividend will be back in the frame shortly.
When it was run at Canterbury in 1991, Bozam, a winner of it, Emancipation, Gunsin, Baguette, Sky High, Eskimo Prince. We'll soon see a start. They're racing, jumped almost as one. Accelerator is going to go straight to the early lead from Bedouin, but here's Platinum Scissors coming up on the outside, and County Tyrone on the outside of Carnegie Express, not far away. Only about 5 lengths between them, about 3/4 of a length clear. Hello, County Tyrone. By golly, he went like an Oakley plater there for 200 metres, and in a lightning move, it's Darren Beedman taking County Tyrone to the lead. County Tyrone, he's the roughie in the field of 5. He's 3/4 of a length clear on Platinum Scissors. On the inside is Accelerator. Larry Cassidy on Carnegie Express is right on the back of Platinum Scissors and Chris Muntz, and Bedouin's not far away. This has been a tactical race, and what an interesting affair around the corner. County Tyrone taken on in earnest by Platinum Scissors, who hits the lead. Carnegie Express is after Platinum Scissors, then Bedouin and Accelerator held up on the inside. 175 metres to go now. Platinum Scissors in full flight. He's stablemate getting out Accelerator, and then Carnegie Express. Platinum Scissors the leader. Accelerator is closing the gap. Accelerator runs to Platinum Scissors, and Accelerator got up to win the Hill Stakes. Accelerator from Platinum Scissors, a Waterhouse Quinella. Carnegie Express third from Bedouin and County Tyrone. Target for the big staying races. Terrific run by Carnegie, and number 4 and 4th. And what a move by Darren Beedman.
Racing well at the moment. He didn't have any trouble running out the 1900 metres yesterday.
Well, it was a soft race, you know, like a small field, tactical battle. Should have won much easier. It was a bit hairy there if you're on him coming to the turn when old County Tyrone was in front whacking away there, and things were a bit hairy here for Jimmy, but got out in the right time and got there in the nick of time.
You know, if County Tyrone had kept going for another 50 metres, he'd have got beaten Accelerator, because that split that, well, it allowed Platinum Scissors to move back to the rail and gave him a split. But I tell you what, I cheered when Darren took off on County Tyrone, because I could see Jimmy Cassidy and Chris Muntz, they got the 2 stablemates up 1-2. They were just sitting, they had it just the way they wanted it early. They were going to slow it up and make it a sprint home. And Darren, sitting at the back of the field on County Tyrone, said, "Not while I'm here." Took off around them, set the pace, broke the race up, and really put Jimmy where he didn't want to be after that. But Jimmy's good enough to get out of those things, you know. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Mike.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Mike, Carnegie.
In a few minutes, it's the Shannon Stakes next time. Race 6. Top raider is Sportsman from Marbine, Boreal and Monmeki, 2, 5, 1 and 4. And Sportsman has come up at $2. He's the clear favourite. Boreal, Shower.
A good OB shot of Thunder and Evander. They're off. Boreal and Sportsman out pretty well, and so too was Marbine. Not far away is Shower of Roses as they settle, followed closely by Studebaker. Nips is over on the inside. 60 by Studebaker. Nips is over on the inside. 600 out now in the Shannon. No change in the order. Marbine shows the way from Boreal. Shower of Roses in third position, followed by Nips. He's calling upon Sportsman now. A length and a half into Amex. Studebaker and Monmeckie brings up the rear and is under the whip. Around the corner they travel. Past the 400 Marbine from Boreal and Sportsman joining in swiftly, and then Nips, Shower of Roses, followed by Amex looking for a gap, and now Studebaker's unwinding, but in the meantime Sportsman shot away. 150 to travel, this model of consistency. Sportsman, Amex getting into the clear, going after Sportsman. Sportsman in front, Amex coming at him. Amex or Sportsman in a tight one with Nips over on the inside from Boreal, and then a gap to Studebaker's Shower of Roses, Monmeckie and Absolute Marbine. Photo. Let's have number 6. Amex paid $3.10, and number 9 in third spot. Nips paid $5.10. The Quinella
side. Look, a funny race. It was a bunch finish at the end of it, but look, he just keeps winning, this horse, Sportsman. Whether the Randwick Mile might find him out, I'm not so sure.
It's funny, Ronnie. You see when he puts the whip away about 40 yards out, and that's when the horse actually makes sense. He's put the whip away there, and then he has to go for it again. I think the horse halfway didn't actually pull up, but I think the horse thought he'd done his job, and he just started to relax. As soon as he dug him up again, the horse kicked on.
Leaving at Al Jamil, 1273 for the ratings. And here's the market. Handsome Ransom, number 1, comes up at $3.70. Also in the market, Hassel, percent go.
The 3 best back to beat Handsome Ransom. Money for the 3 that I've mentioned have pushed Handsome Ransom out. So, an interesting race as they move up to the gates. First into line is Al Jamil from the inside, got out well. Handsome Ransom jumped nicely. Terracotta Bay, Square One and Tesumai all hunting up looking for the lead. And Platinum Scissors not far away as they settle, and then Spur Sent followed by Hassel. And then Barberton to the side, and still Absolute is grandly. Down the side of the track, 7.50 to run. And no change in the order. Tesumai a length clear on the well back. Terracotta Bay. Square One third. Superior Satine is fourth. 1 out, 1 back. 2.5 to Al Jamil at the 600. Another couple to Spur Sent. A length to Handsome Ransom being shaken along. 2.5 Hassel likewise. November Dreaming, Barberton, and 4 lengths to Grandly. Tesumai leads them into the straight by a length on Terracotta Bay. Square One the rails. Superior Satine still there. Spur Sent off the fence to put in a challenge, and Al Jamil is next, then Hassel, and Handsome Ransom got a lot of work to do, but Tesumai still in front. About 150 to go. Tesumai 2 lengths clear. Al Jamil wide out with Spur Sent, but at the moment they're not a hope in Hades of catching Tesumai, and pretty well all the way to Tesumai from either Terracotta Bay or Square One. Nothing in it for second and third. And then came Spur Sent, Al Jamil, Hassel, November Dreaming, and then Grandly followed by Superior Satine, Handsome Ransom. Special did actually wasn't required in that, I think. No, they all started there. Spinner on the evens 4.
2 starts ago, Tesumai really proved his class by winning the 3-year-old classic at Gosford, and last start at Rosehill it could be argued that he didn't have the best of luck behind In Top Swing in the Golden Race.
Look, he never got out after handing up the lead too quickly there. Look, he loves to bowl along in front. Gee, unusual for Zach to show any emotion. I don't think I've ever seen him show emotion. But look, he's a nice horse, this horse. He makes his own luck. He gets up on the speed and did a good job. Look, Handsome Ransom, I don't think he can stay. He went on that third up into that race, although I do...
Wouldn't make the ground.
He might go to the Spring Champion Stakes now, this horse, and he might be something to beat in the Victoria Derby. I tell you what, he rolls along like a genuine stayer, that horse. Yeah. I've been impressed with him, and I think...
And Fuwadi, $3 for Star of Florida, and Goldcatcher is easing out now to $13. At $2.80. Fuwadi at $9.50 and Star of Florida at $3.30. A reminder, our twilight service will kick in with Albion Park, which is part of our nighttime. Thorn Park and Star of Florida have been disputing favouritism. Thorn Park at $2.80 and Star of Florida $3.20, and then Fuwadi at $9.60. Mystegic and Goldcatcher are next best. They're moving up.
Already, they're off. And Mystique got out quickly, so too did Star of Florida. Empire third, Gullcatcher fourth, followed by Fawadi. A length and a half. Knickerbocker Kid there, scorching grass, 700 to go. And Mystique and Star of Florida, Hammer and Tong to Empire Century Kid, Fawadi. Then comes the grey Gullcatcher, a length and a half, Academe, 2.5, Thorn Park. And then Force Apollo, followed by Pompey, Chaverny, and then Corral Boy and Knickerbocker Kid. Around the corner they travel, Mystique and Star of Florida. They are going lickety split there, 2 lengths Empire, a length the Gullcatcher, Fawadi, Century Kid, and then Academe. Thorn Park's a mile back. They race down towards the 200, and Mystique and Star of Florida, a length and a half on Academe, rattling home, and Empire next. Star of Florida hits the front from Mystique, and then Empire. Star of Florida is in front. A great win, Star of Florida. Photo miners, Empire, Academe and Mystique, and Thorn Park flew when it was all over. Too short for him. Fawadi, and then Pompey and Century Kid, Gullcatcher, Force Apollo, Knickerbocker Kid, Corral Boy and Chaverny finished amongst the tail enders. Terrific win. Exacta $81 neat. The trifecta $925.70.
Right thing by placing
$1 neat. The trifecta.
Yeah, good decision, and I thought a great training performance. You know, like this horse has really matured. He's been well looked after. Look, I thought Paddy Payne rode him beautiful. You know, like he didn't want to pour too much pressure on there. He says, "Oh well, Mystique's going to kick up there. I'll just hold my horse together." He could be a little vulnerable at the 1100 metres, but look, they've dashed home in 33 here. It was just impossible for a horse like Thorn Park to get over the top of them, although I do think he raced well and was a touch unlucky to my eye. Mystique's run was gallant first up after injury, and he looked a bunch.
You're right, Ronnie. I think Thorn Park, if it had got clear space, if it had got to the outside, if he hadn't been bailed away behind heels of horses, I reckon he wins the race. I reckon he went home absolutely super.
He hasn't been given a chance to produce his good finish.
No, he hasn't. He just was checking off heels the whole time.
He gets out there.
And he gets one crack at them with a bit of momentum, and he gets with a length of the winner, I think, was a super run. But take nothing.
Today. See you next week.
See you next week.
Ahead of Hinting and Crown Princess, 3 and 12 ahead of 4 and number 5. Latest check of betting on course, a wide open race where the favourite is Rodine, but there's a host of them around this quote. Dilly Dally, market is Diamond Haley right down the bottom of the order. So as they begin arriving in the mounting yards.
How do you think the races will be run? The track's pretty firm. They've got the rail position. It's hard to tell after one race. Lady Sophia led.
Now Rodine jumping fast on the inside. Slice of Paradise went back at the start. Syrinx to Largo Moon, the first two to show out. Crown Princess on the rail behind her is Hinting, Annie Levy, and then Slice of Paradise, and Ashanti has gone back to last now. It's Bahamian Star driving on at the 800, leading by 2. Delago Moon, Portland Damask now back third on the inside of Crown Princess, wanting to over race on the outside. Rodine getting a dream run on the fence, and then came How Funny wide. Diamond Haley deeper and Soak Up the Sun around them. Dilly Dally making ground along the inside, then Pretty Penny, Syrinx, Annie Levy, Hinting, followed by Slice of Paradise, the Shetty is second last, and Tally Bellotto. At the turn they race now, and Bahamian Star leading narrowly. Crown Princess wide around Delago Moon as they corner. Just behind them, Rodine called on. How Funny runs on around Portland Damask, and then Dilly Dally, who's held up for a run, followed by Syrinx. Bahamian Star in front of Crown Princess. Dilly Dally searching for runs. Portland Damask, Syrinx are coming. Here's Ashanti and Hinting right down the outside. It's Hinting and Ashanti hitting the lead. It's Hinting just in front, and Hinting beats Ashanti a long head. Portland Damask third, then the unlucky Dilly Dally from Syrinx. Slice of Paradise, Pretty Penny. How Funny, followed by Crown Princess, Bahamian Star. Next in is Rodine, Delago Moon, Annie Levy, Soak Up the Sun, Diamond Haley, and Tally Bellotto last in, and they've run 122.96. Last start winner to Syrinx, and fifth was number 3, Dilly Dally. I think she was a bit stiff in the run. She was searching for runs everywhere. Everywhere.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
And in top swing, 4 and 8 ahead of 1 and 2. A tricky race on course. Keep the Faith holds tote favouritism, and that is ahead of Elvestrom. And there's a whole host of them as third picks. Kusi is there. Dance Up is well fancied. Fresh Boy, Flash in the Pan. They're all close to being third picks, and then from there we go to in top swing. It's easier to find the outsider. It's Mr. Prelude. A race to be called by Terry's clear-cut on-course favourite ahead of Keep the Faith as we link up with Terry.
Thanks, Brendan. Moving up for this important Group 3 race, the Carlton Draft Guineas Prelude. The field set. Gates fly, racing, and Flash in the Pan on the outside, just a little slow to go. Elvestrom from the inside came out quickly. Kahita began well, and Mr. Kugong going through in the centre, and Wonder Kuzi then in top swing. Keep the Faith planted out 3 wide is third last. Close Encounter second last, and Canny Opera had dropped out to the rear as they travel down the side, was short of 700 metres left to go. Mr. Kugong 3/4 of a length in front. Dance Up is second. Elvestrom third, and Fresh Boy fourth. Ahead away on the outside. 2 lengths to Flash in the Pan on the outside of Kahita. A length away Keep the Faith, who's 6 lengths off the lead and being heeled along as they come to the turn. Then in top swing, Close Encounter Kuzi, and Canny Opera the last to flatten for the judge. Dance Up had gone to the lead in the stretch 300 metres out. Fresh Boy goes after him. Elvestrom getting a rails run, and in top swing the Sydney sider comes after the trio, but Elvestrom drove up on the fence with 100 metres left to go. Elvestrom took the lead, shot away, and in the run to the line, Elvestrom the favourite, too good. Elvestrom beat in top swing with Dance Up third, then Canny Opera followed by Fresh Boy, Kuzi, Close Encounter. Keep the Faith failed to run on, followed by
Quaddy. And the Oaks winning mare has produced a Group 3 winner in Elvestrom. Nick Oaks the cash with an impressive win.
Congratulations, mate.
Thanks, Andrew.
You said to us a few weeks ago that this horse might be a Derby horse. You've been looking for one. He proved it today.
Mate, I've ridden him every day since he's come back from the breakers, and I've been riding horses all my life, and you know, I've tried to keep a huge opinion of him. And look, today's a start. There's further way to go yet, but he's still learning. He's a darn nice horse. He's got the mentality and pedigree to enable him to run further. Let's hope he can.
One of the older brigades. Sailor Rev tops the ratings from Scaredy Cat, then Titanic Jack and True Glow. 12, 17, 4 and 5. We've heard from Alan Bailey earlier about Sailor Rev. Gordo comes in as an undefeated horse first up. True Glow is in the market at $5.60. Squalani, runner-up in the Sailor Rev. Is it big odds? Let's hear what its rider has to say, Craig Newitt.
Look, he's not...
We have a value bet here. There's been a couple which have been well supported on course, but none stronger than Exceed and Excel. It's the best tip we can give you from on-course betting. Brief embrace with its admirers. And no other major changes. If you're a Scaredy Cat fan, it's been
Brendan, the first of the big Group 1s, and they're starting for True Glow's going to see it run favourite on track, as also on jump well. Titanic Jack a little slow with Rosina Ladd and Fields of Omar. Exceed and Excel first out, lands in front of Reactive, Brief Embrace and Scaredy Cat going on. So too La Murphy and Demission in between runners. Another couple of lengths away in the field, Fields of Omar on the inside of Rosina Ladd and Gordo. At the 700 down the side, Exceed and Excel by a length and a half to Largo Delight and Scaredy Cat. The youngsters hold the trifecta at the moment. Brief Embrace in fourth placing, then Reactive, Sailor Eve. A length away then to Mr. Murphy around the outside now of Tycoon Ruler, Squalani, Titanic Jack, next Macedon Lady. They're followed by Crystal Finale, Emission, True Glow. Well back in the field as they come to the home turn. In the run around the benders, Rosina Ladd as they balance for home now. And then Mr. Lofty into the straight and Exceed and Excel, the leader. Exceed and Excel with Largo Delight after it. Then Scaredy Cat, Reactive down the outside. And then Mr. Murphy. But Exceed and Excel has burst away. The Sydney Colt has put 3 lengths on Reactive, Largo Delight, Titanic Jack, and Exceed and Excel, a brilliant winner. Reactive second, Titanic Jack has got third, and close up Scaredy Cat, Macedon Ladies run well, Largo Delight handy to them, and then Rosina Ladd, Mr. Murphy. Further back in the field to finish is Mr. Lofty, Sailor Eve, Tycoon Ruler, Fields of Omar, Squalani, True Glow never came into the race, Crystal Finale, Gordo, Emission, and Brief Embrace, one of the last in it. But it's all Exceed and Excel. Dazzling burst. near the 300 metres. He led from the front and raced away from his opposition. And the Tim Martin trained 3-year-old colt, ridden by Corey Brown, has scored a brilliant victory at Group 1 level. Number 7, Exceed and Excel, will pay $760 and $2.9, and if that is confirmed, it will be a course record victory.
A course record, and Andrew, I do believe it's a first Group 1 victory for Tim Martin.
Well done, Tim. He's been getting better and better with each run, and his work's been getting better, and the question mark was the 7 furlongs, but he ran it out strong.
Very strong, really.
Yeah, he did. You know, it was a good trial for the Guineas. The time was good, which compares well to the 3-year-old Prelude, so we'll push on for the Guineas, hopefully.
I think Greg just said it's a new track record.
Well, Largo to light handy to them, and then Rosina led.
Well, not being one to crow, but I did say I thought this horse might be the very next Choisir.
What are you doing now? You rode him off after his first up run.
I beg your pardon.
You rode him off.
I did not ride him off. I said after that, I said he over-raced, he need to improve. He did, right? And then I said, I think he's the next Choisir because of the way he races.
Oh, yeah. An hour after that race, you said it.
No, I didn't, right? He's a superstar 3-year-old sprinter, this horse, and I reckon he'll be a superstar up the straight because at Flemington, the straight 6 will suit him down to the ground. And the way he just led here, it is a 3-year-old's race. 3-year-olds have a great record in this race because of the weight conditions, but you couldn't help but be impressed with him, Alf.
No, and I like the run of Reactive too. But look, I think the key with Exceed and Excel is, look, he's obviously improved coming down to Melbourne, no question, given the fact that he ran a race to a track record. But I thought it was just absolutely wonderful to see one of the greatest jockeys in our time, as far as I'm concerned, Corey Brown. He is a superstar. You've got to be very careful with a horse like Exceed and Excel that they don't want to over-race. He jumped, he sat. We saw Largo Delight go from an out.
Be likewise with several contenders going around. Converge Sky rates ahead of Piace and Rose Archway, and then the Big Ask. 6 from 8 and 15, and then number 4. It's very cool out of the sun at Caulfield as we check the latest in betting figure grills.
Well, Gary, I was fortunate enough to...
Trained mare. Rose Archway is the 3rd elect, and the rest are at double figure odds and more.
With him, one in with another worry. They're off. The Big Ask just missed the start slightly, and Mr. Prudent out the back as usual. Rose Archway was away quickly in company with Pinstripe. Converge is going on very, very quickly, and he shot across and found the lead, and he did it pretty easily, in fact. So Converge is Mr. Prudent. They're onto the railway side, 900 left to go, and another Warrior led Badger's Wood out of options doing some work. Rose Archway 4th, the inside. Converge beautifully placed. Zagalia next to the outside. Half a length Piace, Turmeric, and they're followed by Vicksburg, a length and a half to Bold Bard. The Big Ask off and running, followed by Pinstripe, Rain Gauge, Oarsman, and then came Mr. Prudent and Mr. American Gothic. Nearing the turn, another Warrior from Badger's Wood, out of options. Rose Archway 4th, the inside, then Converge. Zagalia around the outside. Piace searching for it out as Vicksburg starts a running. They're followed by Turmeric, but another Warrior led around the home turn, and he kicked out 2 or 3 lengths now. It's another Warrior from Zagalia down the outside. Converge switch back to the rails. Rose Archway's after the leader, but it's another Warrior in front. Rose Archway trying hard. Another Warrior, Rose Archway. Vicksburg the outside. Rose Archway's grabbing the lead, and Rose Archway beats another Warrior. Vicksburg 3rd, then Zagalia and Converge. Back behind them, Piace, Turmeric, and they were followed by Bold Bard. Further away in the field then came Oarsman, Badgers. Stand by for numbers 15. Rose Archway, Damien Oliver and Clary Connors takes out the race. It's her first victory since she scored in the Oaks as a 3-year-old filly. Naturally, every conceivable hope, but they just got away on him at the home turn, and he wasn't able to produce. Rose Archway back into the...
Behind Motivate, although beaten just... It's the Underwood Stakes over 1,800 metres, won the past 2 years by Northerly. It's Fantastic and Walk On Air as equal top picks ahead of Hellenus and Mummify. 1 and 4 equal ahead of 5 and number 6. Fantastic, best bet of the day. Their equal third picks are Walk On Air and Hellenus. From there we go to Mummify. And as you look over the page, you'll see the tote favourite is clearly Ain't Seen Nothing. Damien Oliver, former favourite, Ain't Seen Nothing. It's the Underwood Stakes coming up. Northerly's won the past 2 Intergays 4 years ago. Tie the Knot 5 years ago. Octagonal in 96. Jeune in 94. Dr. Grace in 91. There's been some good horses win. Let's join up with Greg Miles.
Grey Song, Fantastic already with Walk On Air. All clear with Walk On Air. All clear. Racing now. Walk on Air jumping well towards the inside, and Crianza bounced out. Mummify Strasburger next from Fantastic Helenus. Amalfi out wider and ain't seen nothing going on. Grey Song next and Honor Babe settled down laughing. Amalfi around the outside. Mummify with a nice trail. Wonder Strasburg midfield, and they're followed by Helenus, still over racing. Next is Fantastic on the inside, trailed by Honor Babe, and Grey Song is last of all. Up the side, Crianza led, ain't seen nothing. Amalfi the outside, Walk on Air 4, and then came Mummify. Couple of lengths away to Strasburg. Helenus his outside, followed by Fantastic, Honor Babe, and 2 to Grey Song. Crianza heads to the 650, out a length and a half to ain't seen nothing. Amalfi a length and a half away third. Walk on Air on the inside. Mummify is in 5th placing and is about to be set alight now. 2 lengths to Helenus. Strasburg, Honor Babe, Fantastic well back, and Grey Song last. The Underwood field for home at the 400. Crianza narrowly, ain't seen nothing, tackling it strongly. Mummify in the clear. Amalfi wobbled wide. Then came Strasburg, followed by Walk on Air in the straight, and Mummify pounced on, ain't seen nothing. They come away now, and they're clear to Grey Song running on, and then Walk on Air, Strasburg and Fantastic. Mummify and ain't seen nothing, 100 to go. Fighting it out with Grey Song lifting. Mummify, ain't seen nothing. Grey Song, they're coming to the line. Mummify wins it a long head. Grey Song and ain't seen nothing. Then Fantastic, followed in by Strasburg, and Crianza held on well. Back behind those to finish in the race, Walk on Air, Honor Babe, Helenus second last. A big query remains on him. And last to go over the line is Amalfi. Stand by for numbers. A big Group 1 win for Danny Nikolic on Mummify for Lee Friedman.
Well since the Craiglee, and this is always a good guide to the races. And I mean, the horse is in the cups for 52.5. He's won at weight for age today, so you'd have to be pretty happy.
Perfect sit to probably, no doubt about it. How'd you get into the horse?
A good mate of mine, Mark Pedgie, got me into it, and he actually had to twist my arms.
Fantastic.
It was a good effort from Mummify, because he did have to guts it out the last 50 metres. His run had ended about 50 metres from the post. There's more improvement in the horse. Grey Song got home very, very smartly. He always seems to be doing that. You'll see Grey Song just starting to weave between runners there. And you see on the outside is Fantastic, who ran on well. But it wasn't the track to really run on from the back. And Mummify just holding on there over Ain't Seen Nothing, who did a good job, Alf. She's a good mare.
Look, I don't think she's a situation. I thought her run was good. She's game, she filled cup, and the conditions of the race does suit. Fantastic was clearly the best run in the race. It was forced to cover opinion.
And Strasbourg's run wasn't too bad either, was it?
Yeah, Strasbourg's ticked along nicely.
Yeah.
No better effort in that race than the winner.
Yeah.
Helenus. Can Bart turn him around?
Don't change the subject.
No, I'm just... Yeah. What?
Well, when you were tipping all these things at David Hall's the last couple of weeks, I said, geez, this Mummify must be going well. So I had something on him last week. At David Hall's the last couple of weeks, I said, geez, this Mummify must be going well. So I had something on him last week. He's going good, Mummify. He's got to learn to settle a little better.
Okay, he has. That's exactly right. He has to learn to settle to win a long race. But I just thought, Helenus, well, gee, I don't even think Bart can turn him around. I think he's got wheels going round his head. And
He needs psychological help.
well,